got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And we are tired, but we're not even done. We're leaving soon. So let's get into it.
And Carl's not even here. The ghost of Karl is sitting at the table.
Yeah.
We got no fourth mic today.
He never came back from Boston.
Yeah.
Actually, he came to Baltimore for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I was in Baltimore for a little while.
The only guy that actually ran the Boston Marathon
Yeah.
is not here.
We can't tell you what he's doing. You'll have to see it after the London Marathon, but it'll be cool. I think you'll dig it.
Is there a red light district in London?
I think wherever Karl is, it's a red light district.
Yeah.
All you have to do is swipe right.
It floats.
We already got a video of his hotel room. He's going to be okay.
That hotel room is sick. That's it. Like, we've stayed in London several times, and we had a nice big room one time, but it wasn't as nice as what he's got.
Well, he's
right
at
now.
the W in Soho. So
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that? Is that just George W. Bush on those, or
Yeah.
what is that?
It's a Marriott.
Oh,
So close.
okay.
For the dub.
I thought they were all presidential suites, you know?
Perhaps.
What does it stand for? Is it just W? Like it's called the W?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a Westin, but
No, it's not. Weston's not Marriott.
Weston is Hilton.
they just gave up half.
They were like, what letter isn't being used right now?
W hotels were named for the letter W itself, not a specific meaning or concept. The brand was launched in 1998 with W New York being the first property.
Really?
While they market themselves as representing various positive attributes, the name W ultimately stands for itself, an arbitrary character within the branding.
That's some lazy shit right there.
That's like the Mitch Hedberg joke where he's like, when they're doing brand naming for DoubleTree, they're like, how about a tree? Let's make it 2. Meeting adjourned.
Solid.
Exactly.
All right.
We've got a lot to cover today. Actually, this starts before even Boston, because after I recorded that last episode, things went chaotic a little bit.
Oh,
Mostly for me.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it.
Wow. Yeah, Meg, you're alive,
I am.
which is good.
Yeah.
I haven't responded to email since this incident.
Wow.
So I gotta.
Same.
I'm pretty much. Wait till after London if you expect to hear from me.
So anyway, after we recorded last Tuesday, I mentioned on the podcast how I wasn't feeling very well, and the doctor said there wasn't anything they could do. I went home after that episode. Actually, Robbie and I recorded our Puma review, and then I went home because I was feeling terrible, and it just progressively got worse throughout the day and throughout the night. In fact, I woke Thomas up probably at 2 a.m. and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm so uncomfortable. I can't sleep. I feel so dramatic going to the ER.
Right.
So I was like,
That was, for those listening, Ralphie almost knocked over a table. He wasn't mad at Meg.
I know. I just realized all this is recorded. Ralphie, man,
He's fine.
No, he's all on the wires and stuff.
Literally the worst place, Ralphie. Get up. He doesn't understand.
And he smells like corn chips because he's been at the freaking kennel for.
He doesn't understand English, does he?
no,
He
not
does.
very,
He does.
Not very good.
Oh, he knows.
He does. He doesn't like to. He just doesn't acknowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
You good? So you're like,
2 a.m. I can't breathe. Throat's closing up.
I'm like panicking because I'm like, why, like this, I'm like nervous, like my throat's closing up.
did it feel
it's-
like you're breathing through a straw or something? Like, what did it feel like?
It just, like my whole face was swollen and it was like in pain. So not just like my throat at this point. Now it's like my ear hurts and my head hurts. And like the whole left side of my face is swollen and in pain.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I might be single soon.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like,
Thomas is pulling out the life insurance papers out of the safe.
I don't want to be like that dramatic person going to the ER for something not serious, and I don't know if it is or not. And I went to the doctors on Friday, and they were like, "It's fine."
Right.
So I'm like,
and no one wants to go to the ER. I'd rather
Right.
just die than go to the ER.
right.
It is like the other when I was having that little bit of chest pain, which by the way, no problems. Megan's like, well, why don't we go to the ER? I'm like, no, I don't have a day to kill right now.
Yeah. Just the day has to kill me.
Right. I'd almost rather.
Yeah. Like seriously.
Like what they did to Megan, I'd rather just let my throat close up.
Yeah. So you go into the.
So actually, I wait until I'm literally like taking Tylenol every 2 hours and alternating with Advil every 2 hours to try and get to 8 a.m. when I know the priority care opens up.
That's kind of like your marathon training plan. When in the middle of a race, you do the same thing.
Yeah. So, so I go there and I check back in, and of course, this morning is when 4 families decide they're also going to go to priority care.
Nice.
So I get there at 8 a.m. I see a doctor at 9:30. At this point, I'm just so uncomfortable. I'm like barely saying words to this woman, and I'm explaining how much pain I'm in. And she's like, well, you didn't test positive for strep. And they did another swab, and they're like, you're still not testing positive for strep. And I'm like, but it's the whole side of my face. Like, I think it's something else. And she said, well, it might be. And I forget what the official name is.
Bacterial pneumo.
A paratonsillar abscess. A paratonsillar abscess, which is
Swollen head disease.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the videos I watch on Instagram when it comes up. But
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's like, but I'm just going to prescribe you some antibiotics. Try taking these for 2 days and see if it gets any better. And then she goes, if not, then go to the ER.
Meanwhile,
So this is on Thursday.
This is Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, like I've been with Megan now for 11 years or something like that, 12 years. And I've seen her cry out of pain. Maybe one other time.
And not out of pain. How many times?
3.
Yeah, pretty much 3. And one included her father passing away.
Yeah.
So like a big event.
Right.
So like when you see Megan cry, it kind of freaks you out.
Yeah.
It's like the robots are coming. The robot feels emotion.
Like the Matrix has been broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I see her, she's like literally in tears at this point.
Well, I came back from the doctors with my little papers that say like, here's antibiotics and more steroids. And Thomas he's doing a workout on the treadmill, and I come in and I'm like, he's like, hey, how are you? Like, what did they say? And I just, at that point, I couldn't get words out. I just started crying because I was like, I don't know what to do.
So this was really tough for me because I had 2 miles left in the workout.
Right. Yeah. That's always.
And I'm like, I've already run 8 miles. It's a 10-mile workout.
Right,
Like
what's 20 more minutes?
Yeah.
Or
Why don't you
not
get your
even.
stuff together? I'll be right there.
Right. Yeah. Go take a shower or something.
I was like,
don't
you
know.
gonna make it? Like, what's like? Because if she drops dead right there,
Right.
I still would want to finish the workout and then call. Because like, what's the?
Because what is the point?
Yeah, it's like, come on, you got to finish the.
So he sees me and he's like, let's just go to the ER. He's like, there's no point. Like, cause I was like, I don't think I can wait. I can't feel like this for
She's like, what am I
48 more
supposed to
hours.
do? Not breathe?
Yeah. So anyway, we make the decision to go to the ER, but not the one downtown.
Good idea.
Yeah. We went to GBMC.
Which I had been to this one before, and it's not the worst.
Okay.
Like I think Theo had something that we had to go and took him.
So this is like in Towson or something?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Towson. So at this point,
There's two. Now I don't want to hype them up too much, but there's 2 reasons I would go there over some of the ones in the city here. It's the quality of people that are hurt.
Yeah, and that is
It was a little better.
No, it was okay. Yeah. go
no,
ahead.
the staff was absolutely incredible there. Like they were amazing. So anyway, by the time we get there, this is now like 11 a.m. So I check in, they immediately put you into a triage room and they're like, what's going on? I explain all these things. And the doctor comes in and he's like, open your mouth. And they're like, maybe it could be abscess, but we don't know. But he's like, but we'll get you a CAT scan.
I think his name was like Tove Frankel or something.
Yeah. And he was like,
Dr. Toe.
he was looking at me and he was like, do you need pain meds right now? And I was like, please. And so,
Which I was surprised they were handing out that easy. Like if you're just not feeling well, I would just go down there and be like, meh, and they'd be like, you need morphine? Yeah, that would help.
So by the time we go to sit down in the waiting room, they call me to go to the next triage room. So we've been there for 10 minutes? And they call me back and they're going to do blood work, do another swab of the throat.
Didn't we ask them to check your iron levels?
Yeah, they took.
Tried to get a free inside tracker assessment.
They did. They gave us
They
everything.
pretty much offered. She's like, as long as you're here.
Yeah, I mean, if your insurance is paying for
And
it.
I have to say, I think she might have been a runner.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had
A
like
lot of Asics Noosa tries in the.
Well, the
rooms.
first lady that took your blood though was wearing Brooks.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
She's
just a
wearing, like, Brooks
wacky
Ghost.
nurse shoe.
Oh yeah, they I think her name was Tia.
Okay.
Was wearing a pair of Noosa tries, and I made a comment. I was like,
Nice.
all right. And she goes, I just like these. They feel good all day. And I was
Tia
like,
and
really?
Tamara.
There's some softer, but she seemed to like them. So yeah.
All right. Sister.
So they do all the blood work, and then because that doctor said that I could get pain meds, and they also wanted to fill me up with fluids and antibiotics, I got my own little banana bag to walk around with for the rest of the day. And that was crazy because I haven't had pain meds in a really long time. And when they put it in an IV, it takes 4 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Oh, wow.
Megan was like, she went from like looking really concerned to being like, meh.
I was like, I'm going to be okay.
She's like, I think I feel a little nauseous. I'm like, yeah, I'll get you a Gatorade. Oh, thank you.
Nice.
So anyway, that was much better, and then I was like relaxing a little bit. And then from there, they took me to do the CAT scan, right?
Yeah, you did the CAT scan, and that was the only time
You weren't allowed to come
didn't
with
go
me.
with you. And they came back, and it was kind of weird.
Well, so the CAT scan's weird. I've never done one of those before, but they also like put an IV into you, so you get this like warm fluid throughout your
Oh,
body.
yeah. I've been there.
And she kept telling me, she's
I've
like,
done some med studies.
you're gonna feel like you peed your pants. She's like, but you did it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've
experienced this before. Yeah.
But I was like so freaked out because she said it like 6 times, and
Yeah.
I was like, am I gonna be okay? Anyway, that was seamless and great, and I had downloaded the app at this point. And so the results literally, as I was sitting down back with Thomas, the results popped up on my phone, and it
I think
was
that's
like,
genius to like so that you're not sitting
Yeah,
there
that's
in
cool.
questions. Like we were getting updates before we'd even see the
Doctor.
next person
Yeah.
of what was going on.
but of course it says found a 2.7 by 3 point something centimeter abscess
That seems big
in your throat. Yeah,
for
they
a
said it
throat
was.
abscess.
It's like a tiny brain growing.
So the doctor comes back and he goes, "Hey, turns out you do have one." He's like, "So."
yeah, this dude was so laid back.
I like
So
that.
he's like, we got to get you to the ENT stat though, because apparently they were only open for a certain amount of hours. And so,
Talk about, I will say, this department.
yeah,
They were like, it was almost like government employees. I think that,
Okay.
what's his name? Elon Musk would go in
He's
there
coming
and
for
just wipe out this
No
whole
more-
department.
No
but
more
whenever
throat doctors.
whenever you're traveling around for whatever reason, they want you in a wheelchair. So I had to be like
Yeah. Because they don't want you to pass
shuffled
out, so-
around. But at this point, my pain meds are gone. Like those wore off.
And then you're like, Uber me to Lexington Market.
Yeah.
Get me some of this secondhand stuff. Yeah.
So they bring us over to the ENT side of the hospital, and they put me into this like dentist room looking thing, and I sit in this chair, and like 4 different people come in, and the one guy's explaining to me how this abscess is large but abnormally far
Wow.
down in the back of your throat. So
And they
he's-
got to get to it.
yeah, he's basically like, we're not sure how we're going to get to it, but we're going to try. But also, if we don't get to it, you will be staying here overnight. So in my mind, I'm like,
What that meant, we got to see some pus.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is TMI and very gross, but basically there was a sack of pus in the back of my
Do
throat
we
that
have
they had
video
to
for
pop.
the YouTube version?
We don't. They wouldn't let you
dude.
video in the places.
really?
Probably because they don't want to catch malpractice.
They don't want you to become an Instagram influencer.
It looked like the woman crawled up onto Megan's face, had one foot on her jaw, one hand on the upper part of her
oh,
mouth.
snap. So you're laying down doing this?
Re-
No,
reaching.
okay, this is the craziest thing. They'd never been in this room before. Like, they were trying to figure out where the lights were. They couldn't figure out how the chair went up or down. They were like, how are we going to see down the back of her throat? And she's like, here's a headlamp. So this woman puts a headlamp
Seems
on.
pretty obvious.
Little trail runner.
She's like, and you can tell when she's talking to me, she's like scared to tell me what she's about to do. Like, she's like,
Meanwhile, has a handful of needles.
She's like, the only numbing I can do is like with a needle and try and get back there and just topically numb it. And I'm like, I don't, okay, do whatever.
Whatever.
So she's like back there. She's like, do you still feel stuff? And I'm like, my whole head is on fire. Like, I don't know what I feel. And so she's like, all right, well, I'm going to try this. And so the procedure for this is just to
Try to pop it.
but with a syringe, so like to suck it out. But they don't know exactly where it is. So
So
they're
we're gonna
referencing a CAT scan over here, and then they're in the back of my throat, and they're just jabbing a needle
To try to find a
to try
spot.
and find it.
Like looking
Right.
for oil.
Yeah, right.
And they do 6 or 7 attempts without anything.
Literally, like
Yeah.
looking back and forth. There's the thing. It should be
Yeah.
around there. It's good.
It's like me on my wedding night.
Like
Yeah.
the game, yeah, pretty much. Closer to the game operation than you would realize.
Yeah.
And the best part is they have that little like the suction thing that you get at the dentist to get the extra saliva when they're like back there doing stuff to like suck it
Suction
all out.
hose.
Yeah.
So they give me one of those to get all the blood that's like going all around in my mouth.
Right.
So I'm like looking at this tube just like with blood flying into it.
Nice.
And then on like the 7th or 8th attempt, she got it. She got part of it.
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
she was like,
it was a nice little. It was about a pea size of pus,
Of
Viscous.
liquid. Yeah.
Viscous fluid.
like yellowy white.
and at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, this means I get to go home. Like, I'm great, wonderful.
Because
And-
they're like, we didn't get it all, but it should ooze out.
Nice. You don't need to eat lunch today.
Well, actually, you want something wide to go down there and squeeze it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's all excited that they got that. And she's like, well, why don't we try and get some more out? And I'm like, whatever's going to heal me faster, fine. Everything already hurts. So they go back there a few more times. No, nothing else.
Just some jabbing.
So now, and again, I'm like not on pain meds at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm just like extremely uncomfortable. I'm like, what happens now? And they're like, well, you stay on the antibiotics for a couple of days and you'll start to feel better. And so I'm like, okay, let's just move on and move forward. The worst part is they didn't dispatch us from the ER. So we have to go back there to be let go. But
So we're
we have to
waiting
wait
in a-
for someone
yeah.
to come collect me from this wheelchair because that's how it works.
Right.
So it's only around 3:30 or so in the ENT, which is ears, nose, and throat, whatever. And they're packing it in. So we're waiting. I'm going up to the counter. Hey, can I just wheel it down?
Right.
He's like, no, you got to wait for the person.
I'm volunteer. I'm offering you a free service. I will do this.
Or just her legs are fine.
Right.
Right. I would have
She's-
walked.
She's gonna run a 10-mile workout after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just not. No one's coming, and I'm like, he's like, let me call and check, and you could tell I was like,
Yeah. I'm sorry. to push
is
you out.
anybody coming up, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so in the meantime, they start shutting the lights off, packing it up, turning their computers off. That guy, he's like, good luck, I'll see you. Hopefully somebody comes soon, and he just leaves.
Nice.
Like the department's closed down now. And I got to listen to them talk all about their personal lives.
Yeah.
As they're, how much their apartments cost, and they're looking to move to another place.
Giving you and asking you for shoe recommendations.
Well, that came later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we finally get the wheelchair
So yeah,
down.
finally someone comes and collects us, and then we just have to be dispatched from the main ER place. But luckily, the original doctor who was asking me if I needed pain
But
meds.
wait, you had already, when we got down there, they told us, oh, she's already been dispatched.
Yeah.
And they go, but we just checked her in again, so she can't be dispatched now. So we could have just left. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have had the pain meds that she needed.
Yeah.
But we could have left. But now we're rechecked in. So now we got to stay till somebody can check us out.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, but the doctor came back and gave me pain meds like right there so that I could take them. So at least on the ride home, I was starting to feel like I wasn't dying.
And I say, is it all right if she
If you have
travels?
some. I thought
Yeah,
if you have some.
Is it okay if we split this
Yeah,
dose?
our buddy Carl back at the office would really like.
Yeah.
Can we get?
Marathon Monday is coming up.
Yeah.
He's gonna need
So I'm
that.
like, hey, is it all right for her to travel? Because we're going to be doing Boston, London.
Because is this still Wednesday?
It's still
is
Wednesday, yeah,
Okay.
of last week.
So we're leaving the next day.
Yeah. Do we leave Thursday?
No,
We have
Friday.
We have
Yeah.
Oh, Friday. Okay. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I'm like, is it all right for her to travel? And he goes, well, yeah. you going on a nice trip? I said, well, we're going to Boston, then we're going to London. And he goes, oh, it's really expensive. I said, well, we're going as part of our job. So, and he was like, oh, what do you do?
Right.
And then he's like, I'm not a huge runner, but I like running
But I love ultras.
pretty much. Yeah.
No, he said he does a 5K 4 to 5 times a week, but then he made Thomas list out exactly what shoes and he was writing them all down.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm like sitting here like, can we get out of here, please?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So yeah,
And you're like, does that get me like an extra supplemental dose of
Yeah.
no,
oxys?
just next time I come in here, it's straight to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, that was my Wednesday. And then we traveled to Boston Friday
Yeah.
to kick it all off.
A Wednesday I had shipped a painting that was part of the presentation for what we were going to do for Adidas on Friday.
Yep.
Shipped it on Tuesday or Monday, and it was guaranteed to be there on Wednesday.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, it was
Foolproof
Like
guarantee.
we spent the extra money. It was $500 to ship it.
Yep. Which it seems a little. It's like I love how UPS. It's like $15 or $500. There's usually there's no in between.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And I have a tracking number and all that stuff, and they're like, sorry, it's not going to get there Wednesday. Thank God that we weren't like, oh, this needs to be there Wednesday.
Right, because it could be there Thursday or even Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it turns out it didn't get there at all. They said it got there.
And if you don't know what he's talking about, well, I'm sure the YouTube version has it, but if you're also watching, we have a painting on the wall that's similar
Yeah.
of the Adidas Boston 13.
Yeah. So it was going to be part of we are launching the Boston 13 on Friday night with Adidas. So that didn't show up. Luckily, I had a photo of it on my phone. Our contact through Adidas was able to print out a full-size version of it.
I gotta say, for a phone photo blown up, it actually looks pretty good.
It did look pretty accurate. Yeah.
It did, but I'm really bummed because I want my painting.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
part of a series that I'm doing. So
Right.
it's like really bummed. And I also wanted, Charlotte was there, who is the head of Adizero, Adios, like all the Adizero product. I wanted her to sign the back because I have the one Cayano painting that's signed by Cayano.
Yeah.
So I really wanted it for that. For that reason as well.
Sentimental. No, well, yeah. I mean, you also spent a lot of time painting a painting.
Yeah. So UPS, like what the, and they said that someone signed for it.
Dude, I know there's somebody here listening to this podcast who has a connection to somebody at UPS who can get stuff
Help
done.
us out.
So
Yeah, we're still waiting, trying to get it. I'm gonna try to contact them today to see if we can track it down. But now we're over a week of the painting being in the wind.
or
as they
if
say.
you're like a garbage man in Boston and you happen to see a large box of the painting in it, check it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's super, but it hasn't been confirmed that are they still saying it has been delivered?
They're saying it has been delivered. They're trying to track it down.
But there was somebody there the whole day.
Yeah,
where we had it
So here's
delivered.
the problem. Adidas rented the space for the Boston Marathon. So I'm sure that now nobody's there because it's an empty space.
Former Forever 21.
Yeah.
Guess it's not forever.
That's what I said. It's a weird name when you call it that. And
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, it's nobody's there now. So even if they say that they somehow found it and tried to deliver it today, there's nobody there to deliver it to. So they would probably, I can see them just leaving it on the street
Right.
outside
That's
with a
good.
little tag
It'd
on
be
it.
like literal street art.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
we didn't let it dampen our spirits too much because we were really excited for the event.
The way, I would say your spirits are pretty dampened on the way to, to Boston.
They were dampened. Yeah, but when it was showtime.
Yeah. Real quick, while Meg was in the throes of death or whatever, I should mention that I did get to redeem your Cheesecake Factory gift card.
Oh, yeah.
On Thursday night, which thank you again. It made for just a wonderful date night with my wife because my kids were at their grandparents, and we went to the esteemed Towson location. 4.3 stars out of 5 with
Oh, not
a couple
bad.
thousand reviews.
Wow.
And
Like, did you do the whole shopping experience as well since it's attached to a mall?
we should have. No. The crazy thing is we went at like 8:30 at night and there's still like a 20-minute wait for a table.
On a Thursday?
On a Thursday night. The Cheesecake Factory is peaking right now. Chili's and Cheesecake Factory. You can't go wrong.
What did you guys get?
So I felt really, really lame because I wasn't that hungry. I think I'd maybe eaten something before that, but I just got a sandwich, and it was like even lame. It was a chicken salad sandwich, but it was actually very good.
Megan wouldn't eat that.
No.
You don't like just the
mayonnaise.
fat? Yeah,
Can't do
I
it.
get it.
I don't even think it's a fat thing. She doesn't like mayonnaise.
No, I was saying that's what I meant to say. I was like
I like chicken salad.
and then I think Kimmy, she got like another sandwich and just we didn't get any cheesecake though, which I felt bad for, but they get, I can't believe they do this at the Cheesecake Factory. They put the calories by the item. And not that I'm like counting calories, but when you see a slice of cheesecake is like 1,500.
Yeah, it's hard to get past that.
Do you think there's people though that are like, ooh, look how many calories I'm getting per dollar?
Like,
That's
I
a
can
pretty
get one.
good. That's a pretty good calorie count.
Yeah, probably. So I just had a beer or whatever. The end of the Orioles game was on. Because we sat at the bar because you didn't have
Nice.
to wait,
There you go.
And yeah, it was a pretty good experience overall. I will say some of the prices are totally outrageous. It was like $18 for like a margarita or something.
Oh, jeez.
$8 for
At Cheesecake Factory?
yeah, it's like maybe $16, but it was Corona was $8 for a bottle. I'm like, all right, Cheesecake Factory, like you're classy, but you're not that classy.
Very classy.
But anyways, but it covered the gift card found in the BWA parking lot by Thomas and given to me a couple months ago. In
You know,
case you're not familiar,
Nothing brings me more joy than knowing that got used because we probably have a drawer full of gift cards that I've never.
just kind of tell me where this drawer is,
Yeah.
and then maybe we'll have to come over to your house to see if I need a package of shoes or
Alright.
something. I'll ask Theo where it is.
There you go.
He sent me a money request this morning.
Did he?
He's up in New York and he's like, I'm going to be going into Times Square later.
Like, go wash dishes in Hell's Kitchen or something.
Yeah, something.
He could panhandle probably pretty well.
No,
he's
he's
not-
too big. You know, it'd be better if he was like little Theo when he was a kid.
Yeah.
More, please.
Yeah.
Like,
Put on a Charles Dickens Oliver Twist hat.
yeah. It is the theater district, right?
Yeah, he could do a one-man show, just paint himself in silver spray paints.
Be the Spider-Man that takes pictures with you for
Show
money.
off those quads that he's got going on.
How much money do you think those guys make? The ones that like dress up like Spider-Man or Darth Vader so you can take a picture with them in Times Square.
I wonder. I feel like I've seen this before.
That's got to be a lot of work. I remember the Naked Cowboy.
Yeah, he's doing all right, right?
I don't know. He still hasn't gotten any clothes.
He has a persona at
Is
this
he still
point.
around?
Yeah, I saw him when we were there. Mm-hmm. It's to me that's sort of. Maybe he's happy. To me, that would be a really, like if I was still out there 20 years later in my underwear with a guitar.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess it's like some people that's just what they're meant to do in life.
Yeah,
But he probably says the same thing about us.
that's probably true.
Sees us with our New York City Marathon medals. I guess they're happy running 26.2 miles.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're Cheesecake Factoried out.
Yeah, so we got
We're
so that's
medical
Yeah.
checked out.
Right.
We've got our gripe about UPS checked off.
Yeah.
What's next? Are
Off to Boston.
Off to Boston.
we're on our way. And then we got there. We don't need to talk about any of the other stuff.
The travel was
It's always
pretty pedestrian.
it's always weird when we travel and then go straight into event. Like I feel like normally it's like a morning shakeout run or something, so we have like the evening to chill and then go into it. But I don't know, kind of going right into it is kind of fun.
Yeah, I think we did. We got there. We got to our hotel, put our bags down, went to the space
For
to do
sound check.
a sound check and walk through. Had like an hour,
Maybe, yeah,
and then it was showtime.
yeah.
Ate some grocery store sushi, which was pretty
Oh,
good,
I did
by the way.
too.
Yeah.
I had one bite that made me stop eating the rest, but then
Man.
But I only left like 2 pieces.
Okay.
It just didn't taste correct.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. But I get you.
All right, Meg, the heat is back. It's time for Element summertime dish or spring summertime dish. I've been using the winter, but now I'm transitioning back into
the straight element packets.
with, you know how I like it.
Yes. So if you're not familiar, Element is an electrolyte beverage. They come in very easy to mix little packages, have all the electrolytes you need, plenty of sodium to keep you hydrated. It helps with maintaining steady energy. It improves your cognitive function. You get less headaches, Robbie.
Oh yeah, I took 2 of those. I took like 2 or 3 of those after the Miami Marathon in the heat.
Well,
and
2 or 3?
It brought me right back to life.
Okay.
Took my headache straight
The
right away.
cognitive functioning, I'm not sure it's working on me, but the rest is with the magnesium and everything. Regular water is boring after drinking this. I told Meg the other day I was making it, and I was like, I'm kind of addicted.
Yeah, and I love it for before the race as well as Robbie used it afterwards, but it also helps with muscle cramps and just keeping you overall hydrated and ready to go. So if you guys haven't tried it yet, you definitely need to. And if you just want to get a test of it, you can go to drinkelement.com/thedrop, and then you can get an 8-count free sample pack.
Right, so then we had our live podcast from the Adidas. Is it a pop-up?
Yeah, it's a pop-up.
Yeah.
Event space.
Here's what was so cool about it for me. When we walked in, first off, they did an amazing job of kind of like setting up the space. The space looked great. We walk upstairs. We see the people from Herzegovina, the people that we met at Road to Records, which has happened in the same weekend as London Marathon this year. But we walk in, come in, we go upstairs. We see the space set up for our talk.
Yeah.
It's several rows of chairs.
Several. It was like 15.
Yeah, there was 250 seats.
Okay, 250 seats set up. There's a stage. On the stage, it's got this teal color that Megan's sweatshirt is, but it's also the teal color on the Boston 13s. It's a celebration color. We'll get into why that is. But big, giant Adidas logo on the wall. And on the dais, or what do you call that? The
Credenza? No. The newscaster desk?
Yeah, the newscaster desk. Believe in the Run logo, real big.
I think dais is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, this is insane. A major brand like Adidas highlighting the Believe in the Run brand on stage.
Yeah.
This was like one of those moments where I was taken aback. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. You're like, why are we here?
Yeah, this is the coolest
How did
thing
we get here?
ever. It just hit me. I didn't know it was going to be there. It hit me like almost sideways.
Yeah. No, it's pretty awesome. It is one of those things where you're like, did you guys know, like, you were working with us?
Yeah,
It was like,
all you had to do was a Cheesecake Factory gift card.
well, yeah, because there was like even a green room with all kinds of great snacks and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was-
Okay, Robbie rated the snacks.
Okay. Pause. Rate it is maybe too harsh of a term. I may have taken some extras just for emergency purposes.
He had a
case we were
backpack.
stranded somewhere. No one needs to know what was in the backpack. There was maybe, a few beef jerky sticks. They had such a great selection of snacks. I was like, I want to try them all, but just not right now. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I have to.
I didn't see the beef jerky. I wish I had seen the beef jerky.
Oh, yeah, dude. So I needed to create an assortment sample for research purposes, like in case we need to do a nutrition roundup and about snacks.
Like backroom snacks. Like,
Yeah. But it was a nice little selection, and then I think I got shamed a little bit because at one point I opened my backpack and I think Ben from Adidas saw the stash that I had, and he's like, "What the hell?"
he's like, how poor is this kid? Like, he has no food.
I will say it is ingrained in me from like the band days when we were so broken poor that if there is like extra snacks or food, it's like I can't help it. I just have to have a little bit extra, just in case.
Save it for later.
Like,
Yeah.
if you were going on like a cruise or something like that, are you the guy who's going to the buffet and bringing food back to his room?
Probably. Well, in that case, maybe not because it's still like available later.
Yeah.
But if it was like, oh, the buffet's closing and like you got to get off the ship, and like, yeah, I'd probably
All right. Well,
stash a little bit tots in my pockets.
some napkin of ham.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah.
we get ready for that, and so what we're gonna do here is we're launching the Boston 13 at Boston, which hey, that makes sense to me, and we're doing it with Charlotte, and she is the head of Adi Zero product, and Ben, I forget Ben's title because it was super long, but you had it.
He was marketing, right? For
Yeah,
North
like
America?
a performance apparel product, like that
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
thing.
the whole. It was his title's like a paragraph.
Because he does like oversees all the sports, like for the apparel and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and you could tell like Charlotte. You can tell she's product side, very, knows the product inside out. Was very concise with answers, and you could tell Ben was market because he's like gregarious and
pointing finger guns at you,
I don't know if he pointed finger guns, but he was
like imaginary ones.
Yeah. And interesting backstory on him as far as being an athlete and all of that stuff. I actually enjoyed talking to him before the interview quite a bit.
Yeah, he's
and I was
great.
like, you're telling me too much. I wanted to learn about you on record. Mm-hmm. But and Charlotte, we had a goal to kind of
right,
like get the most out of her personality, because when you see her, she's usually pretty business.
Yeah, but has a super dry sense of humor and is
Yeah.
hilarious, which is like my favorite kind of humor. So
Well, it turned out
deadpan is like the best.
Yeah, she was hard.
Yeah.
Like I started like I had to keep myself from cracking up a couple times.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, if you watch the podcast is out, so if you've seen it, then you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, so we did that. We did the interview. You can check that out. And then we followed that up with kind of like hanging out for a little while and just talking to people, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who came out.
Yeah.
Because we had the RSVP for 50 people.
Yeah, so and everyone left with a really cool swag bag
Yeah.
everyone got a pair of SL2s.
Or 16 people got a pair of the Boston 13.
Yeah, and a t-shirt, and I think there was something else in there, but
And one of the reasons we had to keep the numbers tight for the people that we were inviting from the audience to the event was they were doing like shirt sizes, shoe sizes, all that stuff for.
Ralphie's sitting in the chair.
I'm taking a picture of this so that people
across
can
from us.
have-
It looks like he's about to interview it. No, he looks like he's posing for his portrait.
There we go.
he's embarrassed.
There we go. We got you, Ralph. Hold on one second for the gram.
What a
Let me see here.
What a chunker.
All right.
he really is.
Yeah, so I'll just start from. So one of the reasons we had to limit how many people we could have there is one, the space, because Adidas wanted some retailers to be there and some other people, VIP guests to be there, and then we were allowed to invite 50 people from our audience. But the reason we had to keep it limited to 50 was they were getting the shoes, and so we need all the shoe sizes, the shirts, and some other swag.
Oh, people were stoked. I mean, when do you come to an event and walk away with a pair of shoes and not like the SL2 is one of my favorite shoes.
Yeah.
And
The
the Boston
Boston
13
yeah.
is great.
And then I was really happy with the way the T-shirt came out.
Yeah.
Even though the painting
good.
didn't make it, they took the shoe from the painting and created a back graphic on the T-shirt from the shoe.
Yeah, and I think we did a good job of, picking whoever was going to come there. All it was
We didn't pick 'em, it was
mostly
random.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people who may have put in a word that,
Did Robbie grease the wheels for a couple of people?
I might have greased the wheels a little
All
bit.
right, you heard it here. If you want to get into the next,
If you're a
event,
part of the Shoegazers Club in Chicago, you get a grease wheel.
you got to get it that and a cheesecake gift card.
But it turns out that there was no weirdos there, so that was good. No one throwing paint on like your painting, doing that kind of thing. Like,
Well, it would have been tough, but
yeah. That would actually be funny if someone like some climate protester made their way in there and threw paint on your painting.
or on us.
Yeah. It'd be good. Like we make some sort of news thing probably.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah. No press is bad press.
Yeah, we'd make it into the next print edition of Run Her magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I better not give anyone any ideas.
Yeah.
That could happen.
All right, so we wrapped up Friday night, which was fantastic. Great way to start the weekend, and also kind of like let the pressure off us, because I think that was the only thing that we were doing that was like heavily weighted on us and that we hadn't done before.
Well, that was only the second time we've done a live podcast. Well, for the drop, and the other one we did was with Norda. And it was like more low key, you know.
You mean live with audience?
Yeah.
Well,
With,
you did the Brooklyn one. Thomas did that one.
oh, that's right.
Solo.
Yeah. So
yeah.
okay, me personally with someone.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, you didn't come to Brooklyn.
Right.
You missed out. That was fun.
So I was a little nervous at first, but once you get a couple jokes to land,
You're good.
it is fair game from then on out.
Robbie relaxes.
Yeah.
The pipe comes out.
Every time if someone laughs while you're in a live podcast, I'm like, I want to quit everything and become a comedian. It's like the best feeling. I like totally get it. Like how people get addicted to that.
Yeah.
It's like, but when something falls flat, you're like, okay, how do I work it? How do I make this better?
That one missed.
Yeah. I get why people get obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should give it a shot.
I've thought about it before just for fun, like mess
Yeah.
around.
Why not do a
some
live mic
stand-up.
night? Yeah, and just see how it goes.
I think I could.
I could see you doing the Mitch Hedberg kind of personality, dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sarcastic. Anyways, then Saturday morning we got up bright and early for the B.A.A 5K
Yes.
race.
What did you do that morning?
I met up with Megan, so I hadn't been running since the throat stabbing. So I was going to test out my legs and see how it felt to just run a little bit. So Megan and I met up and did a few miles and then caught the start of the 5K.
And you weren't at this point. You weren't addicted to pain pills, right?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so, although I had been taking them for 3 days.
And do you feel like you ever would become addicted to pain pills?
I don't think so. It's not my favorite feeling.
That's so. See, this is what I don't get. It's like some people it just hits them right in the sweet spot,
Yeah, I don't like it either.
and then other people are just like, yeah, no interest.
I love it for sleeping, like before bed when I'm uncomfortable and then I can take it and then I just fall asleep. Great.
Okay.
But like generally having to be a normal human during the day and taking that
Yeah.
does not feel good.
Interesting.
Percocet, though, I could see that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tried that after a tooth extraction or something, like a wisdom tooth. And I had like a prescription for a week when I was in college. And that was one of the best weeks I ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that scares me. I've never taken a painkiller, and I'm like not like even when I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I just did ibuprofen because I was like, I don't want to do the Vicodin. It freaks me out. I'm afraid I would like it too much.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I agree with Megan, though. Oxycodone, I didn't like the feeling.
Okay.
Like, you're kind of like...
It's like you're like
Disassociated.
sedated. It's like you're just kind of like
And I felt nauseous on it a little.
yeah.
Dope sick. All
But,
right.
Yeah.
so we caught the start of the 5K, which was fun, and then
Shout out to Casey Comer again.
Oh, yeah.
Under Armour,
Boom.
Baltimore athlete.
Rep in Baltimore.
Dude, he won the mile,
The mile.
last year, and he did it again this year. Repeat offender. And that's pretty badass.
Yeah, lock him up.
Yeah.
Under Armour.
Well,
I mean, Under Armour had a good weekend.
Oh,
yeah,
let's be
Shane
real.
Lucchetti.
I would think so.
So, like, here's the thing. I'm in the stands, and I'm seeing. I guess
You're
we're
jumping to the
jumping
end,
ahead.
finish of the
yeah,
race.
I'll get to that later. But Kafuzi, you're going to get a mention soon. Anyway, so Robbie, Karl, no, not Karl. Robbie, Lowe, Jarrett,
Aubrey.
Matt. Yeah, but Aubrey didn't run with us.
Oh yeah, I saw him after.
Matt. Yeah, Aubrey was a little bit disjointed on this trip.
I think he was trying to get in the right time zone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he was just slightly.
And they also
Slightly
put
out
him
of-
with the Europeans instead of having him.
Yeah, he
with
wasn't
us.
with our team, so it's
So
hard to
yeah,
find him.
he was.
I
yeah.
didn't. Okay, I didn't know that.
Okay, and then Matt Silich.
Yeah, so he does some stuff with PR for Adidas.
Yeah. So we get to the 5K.
And Tommy Runs was with us too.
Oh, Tommy runs. Yeah,
He was-
Tommy hadn't runs in a while,
Since the
Speed Project.
Speed
Yeah.
Project, where he.
so he's going to test it out. And gorgeous day for a 5K.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you couldn't have really asked for
I
better.
mean, it was great weather all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did the national anthem, and Thomas, and as usual, every time I'm like, I don't do this, but every time I'm like, I like genuinely, I like that you do it, but I don't want you to do it. So during the national anthem, if you've ever been in Baltimore, been in an Orioles game, when it says halfway through the song, "Oh, say does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave," during the O, everyone shouts O in Baltimore because the Orioles. So Thomas like looks back at me. I'm just like put my head down.
I'm like, come on, you're coming with me.
I'm like 3 people back from him. I'm like, oh gosh.
But I've already gotten confirmation. Low is down.
Okay, so you had someone on your side.
Yeah, I knew. And look, at this point, I don't care if I'm the only guy. But in New York, it was amazing.
The New York City Marathon.
Yeah, that one was one of the best.
So did you and Lo scream O?
So we do the O, and a couple other people joined in, but
I did it low.
Robbie did a
low.
shameful O.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. But it was funny because later on someone messaged and said,
Yeah,
I know you
I
guys
saw
have
that.
talked about it in the podcast before when Thomas did the O. And they go, I got it. So now you got to be in at this
Well,
point.
so they messaged and said, I heard somebody during the 5K
Yeah.
do that. Was that you guys? It's like, yeah.
Sure was.
So are you down to do it now that you know that it's become sort of a...
Yeah, I kind of have to at this point.
And it's not
so-
disrespectful.
No.
It's not disrespectful to the anthem.
Oh, yeah, I
to
take my
the
hat off.
USA. Yeah, hat off. I'm doing the whole thing. And it's more of a love for the spirit of just having fun and being part of it. It's not to be obnoxious to anyone.
And representing Baltimore.
Yeah.
Greatest city in America.
Sort of.
That's what the benches say.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's-
I don't
you
know. I was
it's
walking
true.
around parts of Boston. I was like, wow, why can't we do this here? But, you know.
It was the
we can't
nice
have
part
nice
of Boston,
things.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get there. We started doing the 5K. You decided that you wanted to, or you talked to Matt and you wanted to pace him to a PR.
Yeah, because I wasn't like, I think there was at some point had wanted to run it hard, but because I hadn't run much when I was in Spain, and then I was like, just, you know, it's been disjointed. I was like, yeah, I'm not, obviously not getting a PR or running super fast. So he was going for a PR, which was like basically sub 8 minute mile.
He wanted to do under 25 minutes.
Right.
He ran 25:01. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
But wait, was it but like it still was a PR.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think he had an A goal of like under 20.
Under 25 minutes.
Under
yeah.
25, maybe even 24, 30. But we were good. We paced pretty much right on the dot. It's like 8:02, 7:58, 7:58.
Yeah, and I was running with Tommy and Jarrett, and I was like, I always feel like that 5K is a really hard one to race.
Yeah, especially the first half mile. It's like a major.
And yeah, it's
Packed.
it's nerve-wracking for me to be around that many people.
Yeah.
But we were going, and I was happy with just kind of like jogging it out. And Jarrett was like, I want to see if I can catch them.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to like pick up the pace and try to track you guys down, which I think he did.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Jared
did he
has-
finish with you guys?
Jared has that sneaky speed. Like,
It doesn't even look like he's moving fast. That's
Right.
a weird thing.
yeah, it's always impressive. But yeah, he caught up, and then we were all kind of running
we
together.
weren't really that far behind you guys.
Right. It was like
But yeah.
15 seconds, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that was great to see that happen, and you know, it was a really. So this time they finished the 5K finishes where the finish line is at the Boston Marathon, which it didn't last year.
And the other fun part about, which I think it's like, we were going back and forth. Is that good or not?
I don't really like it. It's cool that they get to experience that, but I feel like if you've never run the marathon, then it's
Then
a
it's
jinx.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
get
like
that.
doing
I don't
those
know that I
things.
would have liked doing it before it, and then tomorrow or Monday I'm gonna actually.
Because it does the turn, like
Yeah.
It makes it almost like less iconic when you actually do it.
Right on Hereford, left on Boylston.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So you go down, you finish there. I like the 5K though. If you get a chance to do it before the Boston Marathon, you're gonna see it was fun running. We're running by everybody we knew. We saw all the other people out
Yeah.
there taking photos and hanging out. Cam from Runway, who just different people along the course.
It's a nice way to experience Boston, and like the flowers and the trees are blooming, like everything's just pretty awesome. And the shirts are nice, the medals
Yeah.
like pretty good for a 5K. Like it's
Yeah.
not great, but it's the same medal as last year, right?
Pretty much,
Pretty
except
sure.
for they changed the date.
Okay.
They got the message about the main one.
Yeah. It's for a 5K is whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it has the unicorn on it.
Yeah, it does.
But it was, and then a whole like snack bag. I was like, they gave us a ton of stuff for the snack
All
bag.
the sponsors, yeah.
I was like,
well, the
all
thing
right.
I like in there is the Hawaiian buns or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what they're called.
Good for carb loading.
the
Yeah.
King Hawaiian rolls.
King Hawaiian rolls. They're pretty good. It's basically cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But then
anyways.
we had to chill out and get ready because we were doing something that actually kind of gave me a little anxiety.
Yeah, everyone was nervous about this until I think they realized we were going to be on a track with a bunch of people at the same time, and no one knows what pace you're running.
And nobody cared.
Yeah, but
Right,
we did
right.
a marathon relay at the track at New Balance.
Do you know what's funny, Robbie? I did end up getting my splits.
Oh, you did?
And
have 'em all.
They
Where are
were
they?
slower than the miles that we did when I did my mile repeats with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No way.
on the
That's so
the day
funny.
when we're just running. I don't know what it is about my head, but it sucks. I get into my head.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So explain how it worked, Meg.
So basically, New Balance invited people to come and create teams anywhere from 13 to 26 people to take on a full marathon on a 200-meter track. And you could only do, or you had to do 1 mile at a time, so 8 laps at a time. Every person had to go at least once. Some people could go up to 3 times.
And then the
And
last lap.
The last
sorry.
one was the last one was 11 laps because the 0.2 fun times.
And I will tell you this: we told people you could come to the track, and I think the track's a little further out, and it was a new event, so people weren't really sure what it was, and even we weren't sure what it would be like.
I thought people were just gonna hang out in the stands. I was like, dude, this could be super lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, beforehand, I was thinking that.
Same. Yeah, I was nervous, but it was cool.
It's super cool, and I will tell you
Oh, it was awesome.
if they ask us to do it again next year,
100%.
I'm totally in. And
For sure.
I will tell you this: if you were going to be in Boston for any reason at all, like it doesn't even have to be for the marathon, you're going to want to come to this. They had great food on the infield.
Oh, yeah.
It's all free too.
Yeah, like 4 or 5
Drinks.
different vendors. They had drinks.
Donuts.
Yeah, it was a blast. And you're sitting there watching. We watched Sidious Mag's team
Yep.
run. There was what was that one that won?
There's-
The Black Toe something or
Yeah,
other.
they ran
were
a
fast as
2:16.
hell.
That was nuts.
There's the morning shakeout team. Mario Frioli.
Global Media. Oh, Mario Frioli was there.
He
I
had,
wonder if I met him and didn't know that I was meeting him.
probably did.
Yeah.
There was Sidious had some ringer. They had Aisha Pratt-Lear and
Yeah, but
Heather
Aisha
McLean.
got smoked by Kim on our team.
We
who-
did have a ringer.
after
Okay.
Kim is an Olympian, and she
As is-
ran our last
yeah.
11 laps. And in between her miles, she drank beers. So by that
Oh, really?
last lap where she ran and smoked, she was 3 beers deep.
Oh,
so when she ran past Aisha Pratt-Lear and did the flex
Oh, I didn't
when she
even see
ran
that.
past her, that's 3 beers deep.
Well, nevertheless,
She was running, what was it, 5 flat or 4?
5:49 was her first mile.
Okay.
I actually think she might have been she was
warming up, yeah.
5:02 and then 5 flat, so she was just over on the.
Yeah.
And Sidious Mag was, but they did beat us by quite a
They did,
margin.
but I'll take that one victory. What was exciting is that we didn't come in last place, but it was fun to watch teams finishing. Like I got to hand it to Chris Chavez. That guy laid it out there. Like he was their 11 lap person. I think at the end he was
Yeah, he looked good.
yeah.
I passed him.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you still.
Sorry, Chris.
Chris,
He was on his last lap of the first mile,
Mm-hmm.
and I had just gotten the baton from Kim, and so it was my first
Oh,
lap
okay.
ever, and it was his last lap of.
That's fair.
And so that's literally the only reason, but I had to say it because there's probably no other scenario that will
And
ever
you know
happen.
he's listening, so
Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
put that in your Instagram story. No.
Did you hear the whole
But
piece they did on Whitefoot Jarrett?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
But they were also doing like a live broadcast show thing from it, which was pretty cool.
I love what they do.
They're the best.
I do really appreciate the Sidious team. I know
Dude, they're like awesome.
Yeah.
They work their asses off and just like crank out constantly.
I didn't know
like, good coverage.
I didn't know. See, this is how much I know about track. You know the bigger guy who looks real muscular, kind of like broad shoulders.
Oh yeah,
He's a 5K
they had like NCAA champion.
Yeah.
Eric, what's his name? Eric, I forget. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm like, clearly we're not the biggest track fans.
Yeah. But finding that out was
Yeah.
pretty fun. Yeah.
He was fast. He started like he did it right because he knows how to race.
Is it Eric Jenkins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran a 5:26.
Yeah, but he was like started out. He just kept like cranking it down.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
Because like I watched people, and it's 8 laps. So you'd see people go out and smile on their face for the first lap. Second lap, they'd still be like motoring. And then what you saw was after that, the third lap.
yeah.
seemed to
That
be
was
up.
me, dude.
Okay.
Because I was like, when you first get on that track, it's so bouncy and fun and like banked. You know, the bank makes you feel like you're taking. I mean, you are going faster in the turns. And then by the third lap, I was like, are my legs cramping up? Like, what is happening right now? I feel like I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And then you think you're going so hard, and then you have someone just rando
Roll past you.
It's like I feel like I'm in a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something where it's just the roadrunners going right past me.
The people who can run fast on that track look so pretty. Like it just like you see them gliding by the
Like
hairs.
Heather McLean. I got
Flying.
passed by her like I was walking.
Right.
You know what? And I think she might be related to Sidious. I think the Getting Chicked girl that has a podcast, Getting Chicked.
Okay.
I actually got chicked by the Getting Chicked podcast.
Very good.
That's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Care Less or whatever her name is.
What were my splits? I didn't.
Can you remind me what number you were?
3,
No.
No, you weren't 3. That's a team number.
number 6 in the first lap.
You did a 6:19 for the first one.
All right.
Nice.
Nice. What was the second one?
Do you have any idea what you would have been?
It
I'm
was-
going to say this is you as a 6:16.
yeah, because it was like 2 seconds faster.
Did you?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's good
I'll
stuff.
take it. I'll take it.
I was 5:49 and 5:48. So for not
Nice.
knowing if I was going to even be running, I was like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I did feel like I was dying inside. Like my chest hurt.
The things
That is crazy.
The things that hurt were the air.
Yeah. The dryness.
Yeah, the air was very
What did you
dry.
think was the toughest lap?
5.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like the first leg and the third lap was hard because I was like, I didn't know how to feel.
Yeah.
But once you get with a couple laps left, you're like, all right, it's not so bad because the laps do go fast.
Yeah.
I feel like.
They do, but yeah.
I feel like 5 and 6 felt long. Like you're halfway, but you
Yeah,
still are like,
makes
I
sense.
don't know.
On my very last one, and I wanted to be done. I had that 8, the 8 lit up, and I was like, does that mean I have one more, or does that mean that I'm finished after this one? And I started to panic when I was coming around that corner because I was like, do I have one more lap? Like, I don't know how you would count the laps if you don't have the board up there.
Yeah.
But at one point it went down and I was like, oh,
Wow.
don't know what we do now.
Yeah, they had like a whole.
But it just kept running loops.
You've never been to the track in New Balance. It's freaking sick. Like the whole
It's so
place
cool.
is amazing. And they have this huge, gigantic leaderboard at the end that you can clearly see like all the teams, how many laps they had to go, who was running. It was awesome. By the way, shout out to Alex Hermanson who ran a freaking
Yeah.
marathon that morning and still came out and still ran both of his legs, which I'm like, there's no way I'm participating in this.
Yeah, he was such a champ.
And the whole thing was the marathon that he did, which was like the Pioneers one. He he was just gonna run a half, and then
That lady
a
convinced
lady
him.
asked him to do the second half with her, and he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry, but
Well, the
I'm
best-
not doing that on a whim."
The best was that I was texting like the group of us about our bibs and stuff and our singlets, and I was going to bring them to the track. And I was like, Thomas, I don't have Alex's number. Can you text him and let him know what's happening? And all of a sudden, Alex calls him, and he's like, yeah, I'm on mile 19 of the marathon I'm doing. I was like, what?
We'll just meet you at the track.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was really cool, and we had that shirt. I could at one point when I was running my first lap, I was like,
that was a bad idea.
I'll probably have to, no, I was like, I don't know if there's enough people here. I'm coming
like-
into the infield.
That's what I meant. I was like, we're not gonna get rid of these.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I can grab some and take them out to the non-infield. And I got back, This is for my first loop, and I was like, I came back and they were all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. So, by the way, they had like a catwalk over the track to
Like
get
how you
to.
call it a catwalk.
Is it kind of a catwalk?
No, catwalk's
It's
for
a bridge.
modeling. It's a bridge.
I think it's a bridge, but you could model on it.
You could.
I mean, people.
They got it.
probably
We got
were.
a good picture at
But isn't
Carl
a catwalk-
from the.
Isn't a catwalk also a structural thing?
I don't know. All I know
Can you look
is
that up?
It's a platform extending into an auditorium along which models walk to display clothes of fashion. A narrow walkway or open bridge, especially in an industrial installation.
Yeah.
I think
So
you can count it.
yeah, I count
it
it.
was in between, but you could also like spit on the runners if you didn't like them.
Oh,
from there.
wow.
You could do more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got a good picture of Carl from that vantage point. But yeah, it was a really cool event. I got it. Hats off to New Balance for putting it on. I think that this is something that could grow. I think they got to
Yeah.
stick with it. This
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
I don't think it was bad, but I think that it could be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, once people start to hear about it more and things like that, if they do it again next year, it'll be way bigger. And there was just I thought it was really, because you could hang out in the infield, you're like hanging out with the athletes.
Yeah.
Everyone's hanging out. It's not like there's no exclusive.
It's like the most social relay ever.
Yeah. And I've never been on that close to a track when somebody's running basically 4-minute miles.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So now you know why I almost got hit when they were going for the world record and I had the camera out.
yeah. And
They're
I'm
flying.
like, dude, it's so fast. Yeah. But anyways, that was a lot of fun. I was very impressed considering I had like questionable expectations for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. And then the next morning,
I know. That's
Asics
day
Shakeout.
2.
Yeah.
That's day 2. And yeah, it's Sunday now. I don't know why, but I still am like, when we were headed to the Shakeout, I was like, we got 500 hats. I hope, people show up.
Same.
in
no.
my mind, I was like, no one's going to come this time.
Well, because it was Easter Sunday. We already had
Yeah.
people tell us they weren't coming because of they're going
Easter.
to mass or whatever. And then turns out it didn't matter.
We gave out the 500 hats in a style of almost like a what I imagine, like, I don't even know what I would call that. I felt like handing those out like there was like we were handing out bars of gold or something. People were jumping over each other to try to get it. Hands
like,
were
chill out, people. It's a freaking corduroy
Hands
hat.
were hands were coming from everywhere. We went through them in about, I would say, less than 10 minutes. We handed out 500 hats,
yeah.
and
easy.
Did anyone put any on eBay yet?
it went at Poshmark.
I didn't know Poshmark or eBay.
But the hat's right in front of Robbie. Robbie, hold it up for the camera. And then whatchamacallit. So we handed out the hat. And I would say over 100 people didn't get the hat. So I'm going to guess we had...
Oh, there was 1,000 people there. Easy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the cool things is I found out that somebody at Asics, a friend of ours named Ben, had grabbed 2 of the hats to give to an athlete named John Career and his brother Wesley Career. And I don't know if you saw the finish line, but this blew my mind.
Yeah, we got people DMing us that Wesley was wearing.
They're like, "Is that your hat on Wesley, the guy who just hugged the winner of the?" They were like, they didn't even know their name. They're like, "Is that your hat on the guy that's hugging the guy who just won? It's on TV right now."
Yeah.
And it certainly was.
Dude, that was awesome.
And I found out from Ben that also John's been wearing it around too. But here's the thing that I thought was exciting about that, and we're getting a little ahead of ourselves again. But when I went to Kenya, ran into the coach from the 42 house, and Byron, his name's Byron, and really colorful, nice, fun guy. And he told me he wanted a stopwatch, and I'm thinking, what's a stopwatch cost?
Right.
$20, $30? I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
Just tell me which one you want. So he later on pulls up a screenshot of a $350 stopwatch.
Dude, what the hell? Is that like the Rolex of stopwatch?
No, it's a Seiko of stopwatches.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, okay. At this point, I'd already said I would get him one. And I'm like, whatever. So I'm going to get it for him. I'm like, just tell me if you have an athlete going to Boston, and I'll get it to that athlete, and they can bring it back to you so that we don't have to go through the whole shipping thing. Because I have a feeling it would be quite expensive to ship this to Kenya from the United States. So with all that, I got the watch, packed it up, brought it all the way to Boston. He's like, the athlete I'd like you to hand it to is my athlete, John Career.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, do that. So I go to the Fairmont, whatever. And when I'm there, I see a guy who's from the 42 house. Like this guy, Marco, who was there, who's like, he does something for the athletes. I forget exactly what he does. And I'm like, I could have just given it to him and it would go right back to the 40, direct connect.
Right.
But instead, so we left it at the front desk for John. And, I'm texting back and forth between John and Byron to let him know the watch is there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm feeling like this is pretty cool. I've got some people that are pros in the race and coaches are pros in the race.
Right.
On my WhatsApp, going back and forth. And so got him the watch, whatever, let John know that it's at the front desk. Thanks, all that kind of stuff. And then after the race, I was able to message him and be like, congrats, we'll send you some pictures later. He's like, thanks. Stuff like that. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, it's like
Texting with a Boston Marathon champion.
Yeah. So
the weird thing is though, I need a Breitling watch, just in case.
Is that the one you'd want? Like if I was going to get something for you?
Maybe like a chronograph, like a nice aviator chronograph type watch.
But Breitling's the brand you want?
I wouldn't be mad about it.
Right.
Some of them.
When's your 10-year anniversary coming up?
The problem is my wrist is so tiny though that any like larger watch looks insane on my wrist.
Oh, you mean in like diameter? You know what's funny is like I was talking to our friend who's really into watches, Jared Kilberg, and he was saying that the smaller diameter is actually coming back in style.
Nice.
So you may be able to find...
Man. Yeah. Got the guy from, what's the show you watch? White Lotus, smaller diameter watches.
Yeah. Oh, Walter Goggins there.
Like life is like really dovetailing for me.
Next thing you know, Harry Chess will be back in style.
Yeah. Yes.
Hold your breath for that one.
I think it maybe is a little bit.
All right.
Yeah. Not like the early 2000s when everyone was shaving their chest. That was weird.
Yeah. So the Shakeout was great.
Yep.
I'm going to bring it back to that. And then we're at this point, we're like, all right, Karl, get some rest. Low, get some rest. Our core team running, just go put your feet up.
Yeah.
And what did we end up doing?
Megan and I had another event after
right.
the Shakeout run with Asics, the Move Her Mind event series, our Boston stop with Emily Saul, and that was incredible.
Did you get me one of the logo shoe charms?
I do have one, yeah.
Oh, I want that.
So yeah, that was such a cool event. Emily is just like such an inspiring person, and so we did a whole guided visualization before the marathon.
Which Emily is fantastic. I've used her personally, but also we have 2 recordings. I'm not sure if both are on YouTube or both. I know the
they're both everywhere.
evening, but is a Good Morning one on both?
Mm-hmm.
On both? Okay. So on Spotify and YouTube, you can get. And I'm going to use it for London because I used it the night before Berlin, and it really kind of got me in the good place to get some sleep that night.
So you did a guided thing while you were there?
Yeah. So basically, Megan and I introduced her and did a little bit of chatting, but she basically the event was her doing a guided visualization for the Boston Marathoner. So everyone who was there was pretty much running.
How many people were there? Because it looked kind of...
We were only supposed to have 100, but I think it was closer to 150.
Oh, nice.
The room was packed.
So, man,
fire
this,
code.
just people to come and find out how to soothe their nerves before.
And
Yeah.
you take ayahuasca, or is that just...
No, not this time.
Okay.
They just hand out the oxycodone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
The
just brought
lefto-
the oxy.
The leftovers. It was Easter Sunday. You might have turned the couple of them into 100.
Okay, true.
Power of Christ. Yeah.
But no, that event was really great, and we had such positive feedback. And again, all these chats will be live, or not live, will be published on Fuel for the Soul, so you can hear them later if you weren't able to
Oh, that's
attend.
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh.
The pictures looked amazing because the boys didn't go because it's called Move Her Mind, So we were like,
Our minds would not move if we entered there.
well, no, I was just like, let's
was
just let
intended
it
to-
be
I know.
a ladies
Right,
thing.
right.
But it turns out you had quite a few men come.
Yeah, I want to say
Yeah.
maybe in a tenth of the audience.
Okay, nice.
And then we met you guys out. I love that neighborhood too, wherever that was.
I know. I'm trying to think of what that was, and I'm not sure, but it's such a pretty little like.
Did you come to that, Rob?
No, I was at the. I went to the Red Sox game.
Okay, so after their thing, I'm done with. We did. Oh, the
you
guys
went
and
to
I.
Alex Hermanson's.
We went to Alex Hermanson had a donut party at Adidas. We went to that show support. I really appreciate that he came out for us for the relay. So I wanted to make sure that we were at his event for the donuts, and it was a fun event. It was a lot of people that we knew, kind of like insider
Yeah.
baseball, I guess. And I know his tongue's sticking out.
He's dying.
Are you sure he doesn't?
He is choking
You sure
on-
Ralphie doesn't have an abscess?
His windpipe is on the corner of the chair there.
Looks like some sort of kink that
There you
he's into.
go.
Ralphie's getting into
choking
some-
himself out.
Yeah, he got into some weird stuff at the kennel while you guys were gone.
Anyway, we finished up the thing with Alex and
Shamed. Sorry.
and we headed out to meet Meg. And here's the thing: Ryan Haynes was with us, and he had, when he looked up how far the place was, he said,
He said 1/8 is what you told me.
yeah, 1/8 of a mile.
It was 0.8 miles.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
0.8 miles.
Right.
So I'm like, 1/8, yeah, we can do that. Meanwhile, I kind of had to go to the bathroom, but I'm like, 1/8 of a mile, I can
Sure.
hold it for
Right.
1/8 of a mile.
When you immediately said yes, I was actually shocked because I was like, this is a bit of a hike.
Yeah. So I didn't realize. So we're hiking, and Jarrett starts complaining, of course.
Nice.
He didn't want to be doing this. And then I'm like, oh, geez, I really have to go to the bathroom. Like, let's get there. And I'm like, oh, geez. And then I'm like, seems like more than 1/8 of a mile. He's like, no, 0.8 of a mile. So I'm like, oh. So it took us a while to get there. But once we got there, it was the cutest little, like there's bars like this in Baltimore, but this was
Yeah.
it was just a cute little, like, narrow, like, bar, martini bar.
And it was like quiet, like no one was in there except for us. So
Okay.
it was just
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I snuck into a church service for Easter Sunday
Oh, wow.
because I was like, I just like need to decompress a little bit, and I was trying so hard not to fall asleep because you put me in like a warm chair and I'm just like someone talking in like a monotone
Yeah.
voice. I'm like, dude, I could take a nap for sure right now. I think I might have even taken
That happened to us last year, too, but at a different kind of event.
I think I might have even taken like a minute nap at one point, and I think it helped. But
Okay.
I was like in the back, so I don't think it
Checking 2
noticed.
boxes on that one.
I mean, I feel like God would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, I rose again from my nap on the same day.
There you go.
I mean, he works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. What was the last year thing when we took a nap?
It was somebody was doing a panel.
Yeah, you don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, someone's gonna get the nap, the blunt end of a nap.
I mean, we do a lot and walk around.
And
It
you
was
sit down. I
windy.
mean, and then I went to the Red Sox game. Same situation where I'm like, I could definitely fall asleep here if you put me in the sunlight.
I would not mind falling asleep at a baseball game.
My dream is to just have an afternoon by myself on a Sunday, go to an Orioles game, sit in the very top row where the breeze is coming in, you're in the shade, and just kind of like just sleep. That's all I want to do.
And wake up to the crack of a bat.
Yeah, walk off home run. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. My dad used to fall asleep at movies all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We'd go see a movie, and I'd be sitting next to him, and he'd be like, doing the head bob thing
Yeah.
and stuff. And then, of course, lights come on, and it turns out he goes, that wasn't a very good movie. I'm like, how do you know you didn't see any of it?
Well, did you know that when you watch a movie, you actually miss 2 minutes of the movie just by blinking? Isn't
I
that
didn't know
kind of
that.
crazy to think about?
That is.
Your mind,
So how much of your life do you miss if that's 2 minutes of a movie? And that's only a couple hours.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But it all comes together. But so then I went. So that was fun though. I always like going to the Red Sox game. Just it's a nice.
I was so cold the last one we went to. I was like, when you said, do you want to go to the Red Sox game? I'm like, nah.
It totally. And I thought it was going to be cold, but it was just, I had a jacket. It was pretty nice. It was
We've
perfect.
gone when we were in like the club box level.
Yeah.
Which that I like.
Yeah. That was fun.
I mean, yeah. That's nice.
Sitting we sat one time, there was like a pole right next to us. And
Yeah.
it's not like Camden Yards where every seat.
No, that stadium's junk. Like, it's cool because it's historic, but it's a piece of crap stadium, like, for real. Like, there's dead ends everywhere. It's impossible to figure out where you're going, and you're just like, what? Like, it was clearly designed by tiny people in the early 1900s.
The same people came over on the boats.
Yeah. It's just like Irish potato farmers. Like, that's who it's designed for, and you're just like cramped in the seat like this. But yeah, it was that was good. And then I guess what did we even do that night? We got back together.
We all met up with the Adidas team and had dinner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was a phenomenal dinner.
That was really good.
I don't remember.
And we
Something with the P.
Yeah.
procession.
I don't recall.
There was Kong.
It did have, that place had the worst desserts I've ever had.
Yeah, those were lacking.
Like the food was great. Like I loved everything else.
Yeah.
And then they tried to get fancy with
I
the
think-
desserts and they messed up.
I think maybe it was like out of our realm of understanding.
I think it is.
was too fancy for us.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like, this is a non-sugared ice cream.
Yeah.
You're like, It also tastes like you rolled bread into it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that like a rich dad, poor dad type thing, or rich people, poor people thing. Like owning a boat is for rich people and poor people. Desserts with like
No taste.
no taste, rich people and poor people.
Yeah. Are you watching the show Friends and Neighbors or something? It's on Apple TV.
I don't think so.
John Hamm.
I love it.
Oh, is it? Is it good?
Yeah, I really like it. It's not a perfect show.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying.
It's entertaining.
I like John
Yeah.
Hamm. He's good.
He's good in this. It is almost like a continuation of Mad Men, but it's not like it could be him from Mad Men.
Okay.
If they continued the show and instead kept it in
Yeah.
like the 70s, but he's like in a situation where he loses all his power and money and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but it's pretty good. You should check it out.
Might have to do that.
So you were talking about the rich man, poor man
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, he gets to a point. He's like, hey, we don't realize that we get to this middle age and we have this money and we're looking for meaning in life, and it comes in, spending too much on a bottle of wine becomes like a way to feel good about yourself. And
I like
it's
it.
like, yeah, you'll enjoy the monologue stuff.
All right.
It does a lot of monologuing though.
Nice.
Yeah. So after dinner, we got ready for an early morning, and we went for a run actually.
Yeah.
And it was probably my favorite run. I realize I'm totally mental. Like the 5K, I'm like, I don't know if it was the travel, the stress, the drinking, but I didn't feel like I ran. Running felt hard at a pace it normally wouldn't feel hard for me. It just felt hard in general. And even when we got to the track, I was just like all in my head, everything. But I really enjoyed the Shakeout run with Asics because I don't think about that at all. Mm-hmm. And then when we did the run before the Boston Marathon, we did cut it short, but I was supposed to do paces, and you joined me for the paces, Robbie, and Megan kind of let us out on the warm out, and I was running faster than probably I should have on the warm up, but then it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, and we started out going down the reverse of the finish for the Boston Marathon.
Yes.
So this is Boston Marathon morning.
Yeah.
And we were like, well,
We'll
guess
run
we'll
on the course.
Yeah, run on the course.
That was cool.
Which was pretty sweet. So instead we did we did
Right on Hereford.
left on to Boylston from our hotel, then right on to Hereford.
And and then all the way down to the water.
Mm-hmm. The Chows.
And there is some, I know, hey, it's very elitist and stuff, but watching people doing the crewing on the river,
it's like
That's cool.
It's like Dead Poet Society.
It's so poetic. It's so gorgeous. It's like, just watching a team of like, I don't know how many people were in there, 10 or 8 or something, and they're working together, and you just see those paddles come up and come and there's 2 teams rowing against each other, and you're just like, oh, that's This looks so cool.
You got all the cherry trees blooming. It's like everything's like 2 weeks behind here.
Yeah.
So all their flowers
Yeah.
on the trees are blooming while ours are now gone. So
Falling,
it's kind of cool.
yeah.
Get a second spring.
And the weather was
Oh my gosh,
Perfect.
race day was perfect.
At least in the morning for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it did get a little warm for some people out there, but
well. I actually have a video because Dave McGilroy. I'm probably saying his last name wrong.
McGillivray?
Yeah, I have trouble with that one. I interviewed him after he ran his 53rd Boston Marathon. He was right by where we were at the finish, so I just asked him how it was, and he said it was weird because you would think you'd be hot, but the breeze.
it was a cold headwind at the end, they said.
Yeah, and so he was like, your sweat was getting chilly.
Yeah.
Well, and I like when we had an amazing spot at the finish line with Adidas and the hospitality. But when we were sitting there, you would get like warm when the sun was on you. But then there was this like very cold breeze. It
Yeah.
felt like someone had put like air conditioning on. And
It was hard to regulate your.
yeah.
If you walked off the grandstand, it was like, felt like it was 20 degrees colder.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we finished up our run in the morning, and that was great. That was probably my favorite run in Boston while we were there. I just loved it.
That's nice.
Yeah, we got back, we changed, showered, pretty much headed right down, didn't we?
We didn't. I don't even think we
Well,
showered. Did
well, you left us.
Maybe you didn't.
Wait,
No,
we dropped off. Sorry, we dropped off the boys we
Oh,
walked them
yeah,
to
yeah.
the start line.
Yeah, we got back in time.
We basically just like changed and then went to the start line. Like I went up and.
Oh
changed
no,
you didn't.
I think I actually showered. So
I don't think no, because
No.
we had like 5 minutes.
We got the guys. We walked them to the start.
Yeah.
And then we saw them off, and then we were going back to shower, but we got stuck on the wrong side of the course.
And I split off from you because I was walking through the park, and then
no, but I still showered.
after.
Yeah, no.
After that.
After so this is getting confusing. So we got done with our run. The guys were ready because they had to walk over to the buses around 9:00.
yeah,
So we got the boys and we walked them to
Right.
the buses. But then we got stuck on the wrong side
Yeah.
of the course.
we're on the same.
So
page.
then you did something to get back, but Jarrett, Megan, and Ryan Haynes, we went the wrong way and just ended up like having to do.
We had to end up running another 1.5 miles
Holy crap.
because the way it was like there was no way around, and basically we had gotten stuck on the wrong
and the
side.
cops
there
are
was
like,
one
you got to
mess
go
out.
up here and then go up down
Oh,
there.
you're on the other
Yeah.
side of the race.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
And we're realizing like we want to get to the finish line, and so we were walking, and then I was like, we need to jog, so
So-
we just started running back.
And at this point, I got the camera with the big lens on it.
Yeah.
It weighs probably a good 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like running with it, and I have to go to the bathroom. And for some reason, every time I took like a step, after a while, I felt like I was going to pee myself. So I was like, I bet I'm going to walk up here. And Jared's like, well, yeah, I'm going to keep running with them. I'm like, that's fine. So they ran off, and I saw him go down this one road. So I followed him down that way. And then I was like looking, and I kind of got like, this doesn't look right. So I was like, where's Megan's location? Because she shares a location with me. So I was like, I'll just find her that way and go back to the hotel. I didn't see it was showing me her location from 5 minutes ago.
Nice.
So I ended up turning around and walked backwards. And then I realized, I'm
Yeah.
like, this can't be right. So I was like, I looked
That's
there and it says,
crazy.
oh, location 5 minutes ago. I'm like, damn it. So I did it. So I ended up like walking an extra half mile.
Yeah, I just basically went back the same way we came. But it
yeah,
turned out
we
that was
should
fine.
have done that, but we did not. I'm not sure why. But yeah, after all that, we got dressed, showered, and over to the finish line,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did shower.
where we stayed for all day.
Well, we had a really nice setup. Thank you, Adidas, for this,
Yeah.
because you put us right. There's the finish line, and then there's like the iconic big, as Robbie would call it, catwalk that is behind the
Media catwalk.
And people think that's the finish, and I would have too.
I thought that there was 2 of those because I always thought you went under one and then you were finished.
Maybe they got rid of it for photos and stuff. 'cause
No,
it was
everyone's
probably
saying I was
blocking.
wrong.
You were wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
that's
you,
interesting.
You finish about 25 feet before you get to that big iconic
probably even,
thing that looks like the finish line.
probably more. Probably like almost 100 feet. Yeah.
But it's not as
20 yards.
iconic, and so I think when you're running, you just think that like
You've gotta go
you
through
gotta
the
go
tunnel.
through that.
Yeah, I get it.
And so many people did. They were like
Right.
still running, and we're like,
And
you're done.
like, you're done.
Well, the other thing is the finish line, because they have it for position for photos, it reads backwards if you're running at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like you don't even, in your brain's not processing
No.
stuff. Like,
But so we, to where I'm getting at, we were in between those two things.
Yes.
The actual finish line mats and the
right.
structure.
It's like right after the finish line.
So yeah, so it's a great place for, if you finished, you could swing by the wall, get high fives and hugs from us and photos and all that kind of stuff. Insane position. And it's just an amazing spot to be. For me, I didn't leave it. Like, I didn't even leave it to go inside to get food. Like, but for maybe, because so with the pass that we had, you could go in and there was drinks and food inside. It's really a sweet setup.
It was okay. And then, yeah, and you can just kind of watch. Although I had to stand on a table, basically.
You got screwed.
Yeah. I mean,
Robbie got screwed because
it's what it
if
is.
you
what it
if
is.
you
It's not
have the
gonna-
front wall, nobody wants to give up the front wall spot.
It's fine. Like, whatever. You can still see it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to capture content or whatever.
No, but it's fun to be
Yeah.
up front, and also when people come over, you can talk to them and stuff. Like Nick
Yeah.
Ecker came by. Man, that dude is sick. And we
Well,
said-
shout out to Baltimore boy Dan Rao,
I know.
Yeah.
which I guess we can get to the finishers, but
Yeah,
since I already gave him a shout out, our friend Dan Rao, who's
ran Believe singlet.
ran it with the Believe singlet.
Love
He's
that.
41. He finished in 226, I believe. 5th Masters overall, 114th overall. Absolute maniac.
And just a humble,
literally the
like
nicest guy. ever.
Like he's like, yeah, well, I'm just running my pace kind of guy. You know, that's just.
yeah.
And like you'd never like I feel like if I ran into him and was like, hey, let's go for a run, he'd be like, fine.
Yeah.
Running.
I ran with him like a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
Just,
there you go.
Like, and he's like okay with me running 8:30 pace, and he ran. That was like a 2-minute PR for him too,
Oh wow.
which that's
On
amazing.
Boston's course.
At Boston, yeah. So we had a lot of other friends from the Faster Bastards and stuff.
Yeah, Dave Carpenter came
Doing
through. Nick, what was Nick's
Pat Blair.
what was Nick's finish time?
223, I think.
Wow.
And this is a guy, how do you know Nick, Meg?
We ran Boston together 3 years ago, and
Like
he was
just-
running my paces at that time.
Like it wasn't like you planned on running. You
No,
were
we
meeting
met.
him.
We met out on the course, and he happened to be a fan, and we were running around the same pace. So we just ended up spending the second half of the marathon pretty much together.
So he's dropped from what to what?
Yeah, from a
Jeez.
high 240s to 223.
Wow.
In 3 years.
That's sick.
That's sick, yeah. And he's him and his wife are the nicest,
Yeah.
sweetest people.
And then,
I want to get him on the team. He'd be great for video.
All right.
Be great for everything. So
I feel
Nick,
like we started.
quit your job.
We started it.
Yeah.
I need to follow up, but yeah. Anyways, that's a whole.
Yeah.
But the winners, obviously, we saw the winners come through. That was crazy.
John Career, Sharon Lucchetti.
Yeah. Okay. And well, we already talked about John Career. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel a special connection with Sharon Lucchetti because after she won the New York City Marathon,
Yeah.
she came here to the headquarters. We did a shakeout run with her in freezing cold,
Freezing,
like it was
pouring rain.
freezing rain.
And she had a smile on her face the whole time.
And
Yeah.
people came out, and then we did the podcast, and she's like wet, shivering, does our podcast. She's one of the sweetest, nicest people. I couldn't be happier for someone to.
Yeah.
to
I wonder,
win.
do you think that podcast or the Boston Marathon win was a highlight of her life?
That's a tough one. Yeah.
I think the fact that she's now won the New York City Marathon, the New York City Half Marathon a couple weeks ago, and the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
Like she's putting a resume together that just is undeniable.
And
like she is.
Guest on the drop.
Yeah, and the guest on the drop. But it was funny because I was getting so excited because look, I don't have a ton of connections with these athletes. We don't necessarily
Right.
fan out on the athletes and have them on our show every time that they do something.
Mm-hmm.
So to feel like there's a few of them that I feel close to because they've done stuff with us.
Well, Clayton Young, another one.
Clayton Young, Emma Bates,
Yeah.
Kira
Lindsay
D'Amato.
Lindsay Flanagan, and
C.G. Albertson. I mean,
Yeah.
not so much, but he was a recent guest and he did well.
Yeah.
Again, running another
He
210.
like that's his thing. That's like his pace.
yeah.
But like Casey, even local guy, and
Yeah.
then Dom Scott is one of them, and just it's not like every single race. So anyway, I got real excited. I'm in the stand, I'm doing my thing, like, oh, that's so cool that I actually have a connect. And Kafuzi says, Thomas, it's not about you. and to that I respond, hey, I didn't name my channel after myself. So yeah, Kafuzi.
Suck it, Kafuzi.
Yeah, suck it.
It's like,
But I'm like, yeah, why you got to make me feel bad? I'm having a moment.
yeah.
Anyway, but it was just the vibe. Like that was just insane feeling like having any kind of, like there's no other sport that I feel like you can have that kind of connection or.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the fact that you are starting the same race,
Right.
or getting that, like, what other sport can you get that close to, like, you're 10 feet away from them? I mean, even baseball, football, soccer, whatever, you're still, even if you have the best seats in the house, you're still not right there in front of it.
And being able to catch that emotion, like
Yeah,
when
you
they're
can hear
coming
them
through.
talking, like,
Yeah. We did have a special present for Kira, but it didn't seem like she was in the mood to receive presents that
No,
day.
she went straight past the finish.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she was in tears.
She
Yeah.
was.
But
Des.
yeah,
That was
Des
pretty
had
sick.
us all in tears too.
Yeah.
Her last marathon as a professional, that was.
And I'm going
cool.
to put it out there. We've asked Des to be on the show several times.
Has she never been on?
It's not like we don't have mutual things. It's not like we haven't seen her at every event. It's not like, she's like, what is this show, The Drop? She has refused to come on.
I don't think that's true. Refuse to come on?
I mean, we've given the opportunity. She's never taken us up on it.
And what? All right.
I did get to do a live Instagram with her, and maybe that was what turned her off.
She was like that guy.
It is
Like
possible.
during COVID, we had her on live Instagram. Remember that?
How aggressively have we pursued an interview with her? Like, you just DM'd her on Instagram?
Probably. That's
Okay.
the normal way.
Probably.
I'm thinking it was probably like one time, and then it like.
Yeah, I feel like that's totally achievable.
Hey, Des, let us know. We just because it was your last Boston doesn't mean we've lost interest. We would still love to.
Well, I think she's going to get into trail racing now. She
Yeah, that's
signed
what
up
it sounds
for trail
like.
racing.
Oh, well, then maybe we're gonna have Taylor. Will get the interview. Then.
Yeah. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, ESPN really dropped the ball on
I
many respects. They didn't show her finish.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mention Connor Mance got like a 2-minute anything.
Who's in charge over there for this stuff?
I
though?
don't know.
Like, is it not a runner? Are they like
Apparently Meb was messing up names, like Sharon Lucchetti's name.
Meb?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Was he announcing?
He was like helping at some points.
Oh.
Like, I mean, I don't know. We saw him.
I'll tell you, we did mention Kafuzi. I think he would be great on ESPN to do like commentary.
He would actually be pretty good. Yeah.
I think he would be good. Obviously,
We've-
Sidious.
Galen has been amazing. Galen Rupp.
Yeah, he was great.
We should have him. Kara Goucher's always been great.
Yeah.
Right. So there is, but just they missed so many iconic parts. They missed like the move when Career like took the lead. I think they missed like all this
The
stuff.
nuance.
Yeah.
Like, okay, why is it important that Des came in 17th?
Right.
Well, first off, because she was wearing the Hyperion 5, but with now Puma.
Yeah.
But like that iconic moment where all
Yeah.
the American women are like
Right.
bowing down to her that we got to see. The fact that they missed out on that is absolutely insane.
and even more insane that they missed out on Thomas chanting USA, USA.
Yeah,
I know.
True.
That was a highlight for me as well.
Yeah.
Although the crowd didn't quite get into it as much as I wanted to.
They're
but
too uppity. We
Yeah.
were with the rich folks.
They were like, what is all this noise, dear?
Yeah, we were basically Happy Gilmore's crowd at the Waterbury Open.
Exactly.
And
You're not wrong.
And they were like the Masters crowd. Yeah.
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 But we're missing out on one of the huge stories. And I have to say, right now, marketing, there's one team that is just killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Puma.
yeah, they look, the high campaign, I think is brilliant.
Yeah. Or Go Wild.
Yeah. now they followed that up with the Project 3. And sitting in the stands, I'm like, how many of these Project 3 people are we going to see wearing the new Fast Star 3?
We do have a little asterisk there. A lot of bloody toes going across the line.
That shoe was mangling people's feet. I don't know what was happening.
I'm not sure if he still has toes.
It did. It was like when he walked,
It was like
blood was
the blood was
squeezing out.
coagulated.
It was a bloodbath
on the top
for
of
sure.
his.
But there was plenty of people who did do well.
Do you
We
want me-
saw so many fast stars at the front.
Do you want me to read the stats?
Yes.
Yeah.
So from the PR project that they did, which
Isn't over.
sorry, not PR project. That's
Project
Tommy
3.
Runs.
Project
Tommy
3.
Runs. Project 3.
Tommy's like, yeah, screw them. Give me.
So, and quick recap: the Project 3 was if you break your PR by more than 3 minutes as part of the project, you get a $3,000 bonus. Correct.
Yep.
So it said 30 out of the 90 people PR'd at Boston, and they're doing half at Boston, half at London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a third of the people PR'd. 15 of them were over 3 minutes. So that's 45,000 in payouts. 15 out of the top 100 athletes were in Project 3.
Yeah.
21 of the top 100 women. So that's
incredible.
Pretty big day for Puma, which, let's be honest, no one really talked about them in the race day world much before this.
You also had Annie Frisbee running a crazy fast PR, like a 2:23, I think was her time.
True.
And Dakota had a fine day. And I mean, yeah, they're
I mean, we just kept seeing they had, if you saw like a fluorescent orange top
you're
with
part
a
of the team.
black shorts and then the Fast Star 3, that was the Project 3 people. We just saw them streaming in. It was impressive. I was like, wow. And the fact that they also had a little mini lab set up for people to try it at the actual Boston pop-up shop.
It was on Boylston, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple blocks before the finish.
Yeah, and they apparently were just selling those shoes like hotcakes.
Yeah, although every brand says that they're selling their shoes like hotcakes in
Yeah.
Boston, which is actually probably true.
It probably is too. I know that Asics with the Bandit collab,
Yeah.
they were telling me that those were just flying.
Which I did want to say that I really do love that the look of that shoe, like the white with the red. That it's a nice.
Yeah.
They knocked it out of the park on that.
Okay, so the original release color, the plum with the red, what did you think of that?
The plum with the red.
You know, the original color they gave us. It was like a
The-
dusty purple.
the Nova Blast.
Oh yeah, gross.
Right. I think what was nice about it just wasn't just a white shoe. It had little pops of different things on it.
There was like little details that were different from the Nova Blast 5,
Yeah.
so it wasn't just a color up, and it was only $10 more than the original, which I think helps.
Yeah.
$150 for that shoe.
It was
Not bad.
160, right? For
150.
okay, that's the same price, isn't it?
140 is the price of Nova Blast.
Okay.
Typically, which is a pretty good deal.
It was great looking. The team, when we did the shakeout, I was asking how the numbers looked on stuff, and apparently both the apparel and the shoes were moving. I wore all the kit, and it was like for the shakeout, it very comfortable, and like even like singlets normally, like sometimes I feel like they are a little, you can hit or miss, and this one has like a weird texture to it, but I really like it.
The crop that I got from the collab has like 6 gel pockets for women, and I'm like, this is incredible. Like it's
That's all you need for a marathon too.
Yeah, it's nice.
No, it's perfect. If I was not racing with our friends, I would probably be wearing it.
Yeah. So so we were talking about the Puma shoe. Yeah. So a lot of people. Oh, I was gonna say, anecdotally, what do you think was the most popular shoe or?
Oh,
Alpha
no
Fly.
question.
Yeah,
Alpha Fly
for sure.
Nike still has a hold on the finish line.
We saw a dude had to be top 25 in a pair of Triumphs.
Oh, no.
I
Yeah.
kid you not.
Blue, and they didn't look new.
Saucony Triumphs.
Yeah.
We also saw a guy wearing the original Vaporfly 1 with that
The knit upper.
upper.
Whoa.
And his there was like this much sole left, and I was like,
So it was a racing flat.
yeah.
It was bizarre because I saw him come over. I was like, Meg, look, and it was.
I still have them, so I know exactly.
It's the orange,
Yeah.
knit upper.
I will say it's pretty wild though to see how many people wear race day shoes on race day now. Which,
Right.
like if you think about it, 5-6 years ago, you'd see like people wearing some Vaporflies and stuff like that, but 3-4 hour marathoners.
There's
like,
definitely
Oh, yeah.
a time zone that we started to see, like it was like strictly super shoes.
But I want to say you're like definitely over 4 hours.
Right. And then it was like trickling in.
Mm-hmm.
What was really fun about also the finish line was you had the waves up on the board to let you know when that wave
oh, yeah,
started.
That was cool.
So you could see, like, there was like one point we're seeing people coming in the tail end of one of the waves, and you're like, if you run a little faster, you're going to be sub 4. And so
Or
we were
like sub 3. Yeah.
And cheering people in.
Which, Jeff Dengate from Runner's World, he ran a 2:59:55.
Yeah, but
Snuck right in
he
there.
says just a training run
Yeah,
for him.
he
He's
did it
doing
as a workout.
Bayshore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's why he's doing weird stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So he decided, because he went to Kenya. So I ran into him and Scott Jurek on the street, which was fun because I thought they were together, and apparently they just ran into each other.
Okay.
And so wow, look at this, Scott Jurek and Jeff Dengate on the street. This is amazing. And so we started talking, and Jeff is like, he went to Kenya like a week before we did.
Oh, okay.
And he said he just didn't feel right, wasn't getting in the workouts the way he wanted to. So he's like, I'm just going to run Boston as like
Oh, okay.
more of a training run.
That's
I think he said Bayshore was where he's going to try to drop the hammer.
That's the looped one, right?
Is it?
I think it's 2 loops.
Okay.
okay.
It's meant to be like super fast, and like people go there just to BQ and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm talking to Scott Jurek, and he was there with Cliff Bar.
Right.
So he was going to try to find people on the course. And this was Cliff Bar's campaign. He wasn't claiming credit for it, but to find people on the course named Cliff and root for
Like
people
search it in
named
the
Cliff.
phone and
yeah.
then call them out.
Oh,
That's
nice.
in the tracker. That's pretty, I like that.
I mean, that'd be fun. Like if you're running and Scott Jurek, it was like cheering for you.
Oh, yeah. I do like the Cliff Bar's campaign was raise your bar, which I was like, that's actually pretty clever. Like, raise your bar, like toast.
I get
but
it.
also like, it's like, all right. That's
you
clever.
like that?
I like a good,
I like how he's explaining it to us.
I don't know.
Raise the bar.
I like a good double entendre
Yeah.
for a campaign name. But yeah, so I don't know. It was a good. There's a couple other people that we were with that had finished, like Brendan Dunn from Complex. He did.
Well,
pretty
you had
well.
dinner with him the night before. I feel like I had dinner with him, but I didn't. So our table was like probably
Long.
10 people, and a long table. So I felt like you were with the 5 people that were down on your end, and
Yeah, I'm not like I like to sit in the middle.
You're the
No
equator.
offense to you guys, but I like to like.
Talk to the
I know you
people.
guys pretty well. I like to like meet someone new, just see like what they're all about. So I like to sit in the middle and see who ends up around me or whatever. And so yeah, he was there, and then Allie from Runner's World. And yeah, it was nice like getting to know someone new, talk to them.
yeah. We also had a couple finishers from Believe in the Run.
Yeah.
We sure did. Karl, Lowe, and Aubrey all finished. I'm not going to remember their times now.
There are times, yeah. The thing though that was driving me nuts was to me, Aubrey was close to a PR. I think he could have gotten it.
He
Yeah.
was just having a good time.
He's out there high fiving people and running back and forth, zigzagging on the course. I'm like, dude,
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. And so Karl was kind of doing like a fun run ish. So he finished in 4:11 on the dot.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and then Aubrey was 4:29:30, and then Lowe was 4:50. Hold on, 4:57:47.
All Boston finishers now.
We stayed there obviously till they came through, so
Yeah.
we were out there for a good 7 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to say, when you're on your feet, like I know that the marathoners are out there doing the work, but all the spectators that go out there, all the people that line the course and cheer for people, it really means so much. Like I can't tell you how many runners that I'm like will choose a marathon based on who's going to be on the sideline, like how many fans are on the sidelines. Like I can run a marathon that doesn't have a lot of spectators, but a lot of people, that is the the juice they're getting at a marathon and keeps them in the game. So
Yeah.
shout out to you guys. And I will tell you this, because we were along that wall, I kept leaning to take photos. So like my right side like was jacked up afterwards. My feet hurt. Like I felt pretty worked over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long day. So much fun though.
I will say, when you are on, when you have that vantage point that we had, and you see the people coming across, like it's cool seeing the finishers in the first place and whatever top 100. But dude, when you get to the 3 hour, 4 hour mark, like that's the best part.
Yeah.
Because it is an endless parade of the highest highs and lowest lows of the human existence. Puking, falling over, cramping, smiling, laughing. Like it is insane.
What was great to see is how they clean up the puke. So if I'm running someplace and I see the white powder on the ground,
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid running through that.
Well, I leaned over to her and I was like, do you want me to get you a beer for all this? And she was like, no, I'm good. She's like, yep, this is what I went to college for 4 years for.
Basically, if someone throws up, they threw Zep on it, this white powder, and then it coagulates or whatever, and then they sweep that up.
Yeah.
But there was a lot. And I have to tell you, it looked like Gatorade was doing the offending.
Well, someone said it was bile, but there was definitely people with orange Gatorade bottles. That
and
there's
green,
no way you're throwing up that much bile.
Yeah.
But there is I will say, I know it's like an emotional and you want to do this, but like when people were getting down to like kiss the ground or do push-ups, and it's right in the freaking middle of the finish.
To me, that was a little annoying. There were some people playing to cameras too.
Yeah.
Like, they would see where the camera bank was and like kneel down on all knees and throw their hands up and be very dramatic.
So it's funny because I saw this Instagram, there's like 1,000 Instagram reels and photos and whatnot. And it was like some random like account. It wasn't a running account, but they were posted this video and it was right in front of where the Puma store was. So it's like 2 blocks from the finish.
Yeah.
And it was a guy who had fallen over and then a guy stopped to like help him up, which is very nice and good and selfless.
These are the guys that were doing the 240 marathon.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because that video's gone around.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
What's the 240?
So what? I don't care what it's from. Tell me the story.
So he's helping him up, and then obviously like there's runners just like running because it's 2 blocks from the finish, but all the comments in this video, because it's not a running account, are like they're like so angry at all the runners running past. And there was like just one guy would help and 200 or 2,000 runners passed him without even thinking, like, this is so selfish, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, if you're at mile 26.1 of a marathon, unless it's right in front of you, you don't even see that happening. And he is already getting help. It was obviously he just had cramps, which, by the way, if you stop to help him, you're going to probably get the same thing's going to happen to you. And it's like, it's interesting, like the public perception of it, like all these like selfish runners going past him.
Come on. Yeah, go throw down. And probably some of those selfish runners had raised, there's one person who raised $106,000 for charity to run the Boston Marathon. It was insane. They gave her a special shout out. But the ones that were driving me crazy were you had the mats to finish. And because it has that big, painted finish line thing, there was people who wanted, I guess, their photo in that or stuff. Yeah, would kneel down in front. I'm like, get over the mat first. Like, just get your time.
Yeah.
And then, do it. And, like, people doing, push-ups right in front of that and stuff. But one of the other ones I thought was crazy is you'd see somebody and they're running fine, and their body's probably like, just get to the finish line. And then they collapse. But there was one guy who went to throw his arm up at the finish, and you saw his calf just spaz out. It was like, no, we're not doing anything else.
Who was a friend that came over? She like saw us and she started coming over and she just collapsed to the ground.
Mary Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Mary Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Gabby Rooker, like, she was coming across the line and it looked like she was putting her hands up to like celebrate, but she was putting her hands up being like, I'm going to fall over, like someone catch me. And she went straight into the arms of someone.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I didn't realize that was her. Okay.
Yeah.
But there is,
Gabby's another athlete that I enjoy her personality.
The other thing, if someone's like very close to the finish line and like they cramp up and fall down,
You're not meant to like.
You can't if
Yeah.
if they're helped over, it can count as a DNF, right? Depending.
Well,
If you're a runner out there, I think it's fine. If you're like staff that's like
Okay,
medical on the
okay.
side, you're not meant to pick them up and get them over.
Well, that's
What
the other
they
thing.
did,
People
they-
were like, no spectators are helping them either, and I'm like,
They're not allowed on the
They're
course.
definitely not allowed on the
Yeah.
course. There's a fence there.
But here's the other thing: you have to. I did see them. The staff help
Helping,
somebody.
yeah.
So what they did is a guy fell down. And he was probably 10 feet from the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
He fell down, and you could just tell he was like seizing up. And they grabbed and they lifted him upright. But
And
then
then
they
forward.
kind of
Yeah.
like And so what they did was kind of
They
like
actually
they
pick-
put hands on either side of him, not
Right,
holding him,
right.
but like, come on, you
Did-
just gotta
I
go.
thought you were gonna say they like pick him up and move him 10 feet backwards just to make sure. Like, actually, you
That'd be
got-
hilarious. Turn
was-
him around, go that way.
There was a kid who they put into like he cramped up and they got him like he got over the finish line and so they picked him up to put him into a wheelchair and same thing he thought that wasn't the finish line yet he thought it was the thing and he was like no I need to finish and they were like you're done you crossed the line
crossed the
and he was
finish
like
And apparently,
funny.
we saw a few wheelchairs come out for people who, like,
Collapsed.
people were there. You could just tell their leg muscles were seizing up.
yeah. You know what?
And they said the year before this, it was like just total carnage. There was like because it was
It was
hot.
so much hotter,
way
yeah.
hotter, yeah.
They said there was more puking. That there was more wheelchairs. Like
I
last
would've
year
seen that.
was insane.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in to update the Boston Marathon guide on our website.
Okay.
Make sure you know where the finish is.
Okay. So Robbie, you've run the Boston Marathon, and you've done the weekend as a spectator now, and gotten the grandstand seats.
Yeah. Which
What-
do I prefer?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was something about like, especially like race morning or walking over the buses and stuff. I'm like, it would be pretty sweet to be running. Like
It
there's
was perfect
something.
weather, man.
I was gonna say because that weather didn't,
There is something nice about just being like. Now the night before, when I was thinking about like how much it sucks to get sleep before a race, I was like, "No, I'm good." But the actual running it, there is something pretty awesome where you're like, it would be kind of nice to be out there, but I'm okay with spectating.
Spectating really gave me a perspective on it, though. Like watching, like it really is. There's a like an elite level to it that's like, wow, this is really impressive. And then there's a human level to people achieving maybe tougher goals, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then there's just the humanity of finishing a marathon
Yeah.
that was really fun to watch. I was able to, from the stands, experience all of that, which was really cool. Where I feel like when you're running, you just get your experience
yeah.
coming through. I almost wish there was a way to be both places at the same time. I think you'd actually run faster too, because you'd be like, I want to see myself at the finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I it's a tough call. Like I loved watching Boston that way.
Yeah, no, if you ever get a chance, even if it isn't like another race, Boston's especially special because that's like the pinnacle for a lot of people, you know? So like, I think it's even more heightened. It's not like if you ran a local marathon and you were like, even if it was a big one and you saw people come across, still cool, but Boston's like just a totally different. People from all over the world. I saw some guy actually pull a digital camera out of his pocket and like get a picture at the finish line, which is crazy. It was like a real, like a big digital camera. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, did you not carry your phone? I don't know. That was funny to me.
There are lots of people who ran over with cameras or phones
Yeah.
or whatever to capture it.
But yeah, it was awesome. I'm glad we got to do it for sure.
What about you, Meg?
yeah, I don't know if you can even compare the two. It's like they're so different and both equally amazing. So, yeah, I don't think it's like a preference. It's kind of, I love both, and both are pretty incredible if you get the chance to do it, run or spectate.
Yeah.
I would tell anybody though, like if you aren't running Boston, still come for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, you might as that might even be the best part. It's like you get to see like everything in the whole entire spectrum of running is there.
Yeah.
So you'll get to do the shakeout runs, the pop-ups, the stores. Everything's on Newbury Street.
You're
It's
gonna
like
see people.
you could run the 5K, whatever. Like get to experience it. you'll see all the athletes. Go on the Charles River on any morning, and you'll see every single athlete you ever dreamed of.
Yeah, and then you'll see Kafuzi run by. You'll see Tommy, Herms, Laura Green, everybody that you may follow on the gram. Like, you're gonna see everybody there. So it's I don't know if there's another place. We were talking about different marathons. There's no other major marathon that has a street like Newberry where everything's on Newberry Street, that you don't have to go like to a different section of town or drive over here, go over there. It's all right there for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now we get to go experience another marathon weekend in London.
One last thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
The weekend did not end without some drama.
Wait, we're not there yet.
Wait,
What
Are you talking about?
we are not there yet because you're just talking about London.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What else
Wait,
did you
we're-
want to talk about?
Are we heading to the airport? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, we're
Yeah.
just talking about the end of Monday. I guess Carl and everyone finished.
Yeah, we got that part. So, but are we going to your travel?
I guess so, yeah.
Let's do it.
Which, by the way, if Carl's on next week, I feel like maybe we can talk a little bit more about his race.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
he can go through it. But
You think he'll remember it by then?
probably not. Yeah. So we're going to the airport. So you guys got your own Uber. We got one with me, Carl, and Jarrett, and so it was like an Uber XL, and I don't know if he didn't want us to sit in the back seat, but we all just sat in the middle seat. And the guy's like, "Oh, just throw your backpacks in the back seat," and because our luggage is in the very back. And so, of course, we're chatting. I'm chatting this guy up the whole time, and I'm like, we're like best friends by the end of the 20-minute ride, and talking about like where he's traveled and where we've been, and obviously like running shoes and everything. So then we're still getting out, talking and everything. Thanks, man. Have a great day, whatever. He takes off. We're taking our luggage through. We're almost to like the check-in point, like through the first couple hallways and escalators. And I'm like feel my back. And I'm like, dude, I forgot my backpack in the Uber. And this is like, I had my wallet on me. And I had like my big bag with all my clothes.
When I saw you, I knew something was wrong. And I looked at Robbie, I swear, I thought he was about to cry. Like when we were in the lines. Because I had
it's
just
like
checked in.
we didn't give ourselves a ton of time, but we had enough time to check in and get settled before our flight took off.
Hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough time to send your backpack on
On a adventure race.
On a tour of Boston.
Yeah.
I think it was on a duck boat at one point. But no, so so this had my work laptop, my Bose headphones, all my chargers, my like toiletry kit with my eyeglasses, contacts, whatever. Like, I mean, it's just everything, cash, whatnot. And so I'm like freaking out, and internally trying my best not to, externally, because you can call them from the app. So Jarrett had taken the Uber, so I called him, left a voicemail, gave him my phone number, said like, please call me if you find this. Every 5 minutes calling him, no answer, like not picking up for the 20-25 minutes. So Jarrett checks in and is like,
now you're tracking it with
right.
Find My.
Yeah, so I have Find My on the laptop, and I'm seeing it like bounce around downtown Boston, and I'm like hoping that maybe he's picking up another person to bring them to the airport. Like it seems like a possibility.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to see this whole time if it's gonna like come back to the airport, and then I just see it. Like Jarrett checks in, he's like, I'll let you know. He goes to the gate, and he's like, I'll let you know if he calls me, and I'm like, all right. So I walk back to the Uber drop off just in case, he comes back there maybe. And then I see on the map, it's just like drifting like further out of Boston, like going up 93 north, like 15 miles out of the city. And I'm like, dude. So at this point, it's an hour and 15 before our flight leaves. And I'm like, I'm going to have to change my flight. And so I'm just about to walk back to the counter to see if Delta can change my flight to a later time. And he calls me. I'm like, he's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I had a couple other people in the car. He's like, missed your call. He's like, yeah, man, I'll bring it back. Like, no problem. I'm like, dude, I'll make it worth your while. Like, thank you so much. And he was, he was really like the nicest guy ever. Is that, yeah. I was like, he wasn't like that.
But though, yeah, I would laugh because you said, I'll make it worth your while.
What is it? What would you,
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you say that to someone? I'll make it worth your while.
That seems to me sort of, okay.
Okay.
Suggestive.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
All right.
Like, dude, I gotta.
What would you say?
I really appreciate it.
I'll throw you a hundo.
Yeah, I've got some cash for you.
Yeah. That also sounds like you might be.
Okay.
Anyways, so he came back and he like basically like 20 minutes later, I gave him $100 because I was like, I was just glad somebody was nice enough to do that.
Yeah.
And turned out we were fine, got to the gate on time, but not without some drama.
Not without you being completely stressed.
Yeah.
I was happy. I got upgraded.
Although
Yeah.
I would say I got upgraded because I had an empty seat beside me. And I laid down the whole
True.
time.
Yeah. But I was close enough to the front of the plane that I was able to go to the bathroom and get our bags before I saw you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was, so now I've lost my wallet in a casino in Tokyo an hour before we leave for a flight.
Okay. Yeah.
Backpack in an Uber.
What was also fun was the plane door wouldn't open when we got to Baltimore because they didn't have
There was no one on the other side to open it.
or whatever. I guess they have
Yeah.
to have a person on the other side.
Eventually we got home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Well, but we sent Carl. He got about an hour's break between landing here in Baltimore. Got a couple hours, and then he was off to London. So we will find out about that after the London Marathon. But it turns out now he'll be there for the London Marathon. So maybe Megan and I will get some actual running footage of us at London. Who knows?
Yeah. And just, I know this podcast comes out Friday, so hopefully you're already aware of this, but we are not hosting any official Shakeout run or doing any big events while we're there.
Yeah, we've gotten
Just
lots of messages. People
trying to stay
asking.
low key, but if you do see us while we're there, definitely come say hi.
Yeah, we're just for a marathon where we actually want to try.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I know
What's
a lot of
the
stuff's
temperature
happening.
looking like?
I don't know. I'm also just like not fully
Okay,
recovered. My last day of antibiotics is the day before the marathon. So that also throws a nice layer of potential GI distress
Yeah.
on race day.
Yeah, and but anyway, we wanted to give ourselves the best opportunity to go into it well rested and maybe a little less stressed. So we decided not to do any public stuff, and we're doing maybe a small thing. But for the most part, if you want to hang out or stuff, see us on the street, say hello. We'd love to say hi.
Yep. And
Do you want? No.
No,
Okay.
there's a whole podcast on that shoe if people want to hear about it
Okay.
and full reviews.
last thing, maybe we'll talk about this next week. Nike announced their Breaking 4 project,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is a huge deal.
When is that going to happen?
June 26th in Paris, where they're gonna Faith Kipyegon is gonna attempt to break the 4-minute mile for women, which would be unreal.
Yeah.
Do you remember us ever discussing that we thought this should be the next?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're just tuned into the frequency because obviously they've had this in the works for some time.
Yeah, probably. When did we mention it? 6 months ago?
No, it was
Okay.
like 2 months ago. Yeah.
Kidding. We've been saying, we've been like, why isn't there a women? And you're right. Maybe we are like, we're so involved in this space that we are thinking that way.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great moonshot. Like this will be the Roger Bannister of women. So like when you say,
Well, yeah.
like that'll be,
Yeah.
You know,
It'll be interesting. I did calculate the percentages, which I actually did the math on my own on a calculator just to see, breaking down the seconds. Because Kipchoge had to shave off 1.4%,
Yeah.
and she has to shave off 3%, which is like crazy.
Substantial.
And I think Nike's kind of they've said this isn't necessarily about breaking it. It's more about like showing how
Setting
far
that.
you can get or going for it.
Did you know that one of the guys that was a pacer for Roger Bannister is the guy who started the London Marathon?
I do, because you told me this. I think
Yeah,
this
he went to
weekend.
New York and saw the whole New York City Marathon and was like, do we think we could do this in London?
That's pretty cool.
And so he did it, and his son, I think, is still the RD or
Whoa.
involved somehow. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so who knows? Maybe somebody that's helping her go sub 4
Yeah.
will end up starting a marathon someplace.
Yeah. Well, and I'm wondering, so I asked Nike, I was like, what,
Are you like, hi, Nike?
yeah, hello. Are there going to be pacers involved with this, or what's the situation? They're basically saying they haven't quite figured it out yet.
Well, in track, they usually have that little light that's the pace light.
Right.
And if you just hang on to that, you're
Which I would assume they would.
going to do it. But here's the thing, like, they gave Kipchoge, a wall of people to
Right.
break the wind from. The thing is, if it's an indoor track or something like that, like, is it going to be indoor? Is it going to be on 200? Is it going to be on a 400 meter track? Is it maybe they just
Isn't that an outdoor track?
like does it?
I don't know.
Oh wait, in Paris, that was a stadium. Yeah, so it was open.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's actually on that track, the purple one.
I don't think that's the same one.
So I think that was a 400 meter track. It was a 400 meter track. But
Either way, they're probably going to have all the details later.
Yeah. Anyway, so it'll
sorry,
be
Meg.
it'll be interesting to watch it. And it's exciting. I'm glad they're going for it.
Yeah, I love cheering for something like this where it's like a really hard goal that like it's a pass or fail.
Yeah, and it might be open to the public. They didn't say yes or no when I asked them if it was open to the public. They said more information coming. So that would be kind of rad.
Yeah,
I think you need to have that. You need to have people going crazy.
I think
it.
they
Yeah.
should fill that stadium with women. Just have it.
Oh, dude, that'd be so awesome.
Like all women watching a woman break 4 would be like an insane environment.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
it is not the same as the Olympic Stadium. It's different. Anyways, all right, cool.
Is
Are we
that
all
it?
done? I think
Yeah.
we're all done. Well, thanks for listening, for tuning in for our 2025 Boston Marathon recap.
Hi, Ma.
Get a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop. D-R-O-P.